We are live.
Hello, everyone, and a very good afternoon. I welcome all the attendees today to the Director's Cut. Um, we are going live from IMT Hyderabad, and we will start the discussion today with IMT Hyderabad. I will introduce first to you our director, Professor Dr. K. Sriharsha Reddy. Dr. Reddy is the director at IMT Hyderabad and is a passionate academic leader for the last 2 years, facilitating quality learning environment for various stakeholders of management education in India. Dr. Reddy is an alumnus of London School of Economics and has attended various programs at Harvard Business School, Indian School of Business, and IIMC. He has also published a book on banking and insurance and several research papers in the areas of banking and finance and fintech. He has worked on research projects with the NABARD and PCI and has conducted several training programs on Indus digital banking and treasury management for bankers in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Along with him, we have with us our admissions chairperson, Professor Dr. Pavan Kumar Balivada. He is an assistant professor at IMT Hyderabad and a professor in human resource management. We welcome both of you on board, and I request our chairperson to give us a brief introduction about IMT Hyderabad and brief all our aspiring applicants who wish to know more about the institute.
Namaskar, everyone, and I welcome all the new aspirants to this webinar, which would be very helpful for you in terms of the information about IMT Hyderabad, why IMT Hyderabad is an ideal place for you to get your PGDM done through this place. Before I continue, I wish all of you happy Sankranti, happy Lori to all of you. And I'll just go through briefly the PPT on IMT Hyderabad. IMT Hyderabad is the new kid in the block in terms of IMT family. It started in 2011, and it's been a very enriching and encouraging journey for IMT Hyderabad. So if you see IMT Hyderabad through the years, it is ranked number one private B school in Telangana by CSR. It is 8th rank among private B schools in South India. So it is 7th ranked among 25 government and private B schools, as emerging B schools. So if you see, we have gone through a very successful journey for the past 10 plus years. The programs that we offer in IMT Hyderabad are PGDM, PGDM Marketing, and PGDM Finance. And this year, we have launched two new emerging PGDMs, or you can say PGDM in emerging areas. One is PGDM Information Technology. The other is PGDM Logistics and Supply Chain Management. And these are industry track programs. So PGDM Information Technology, we have launched it in partnership with HCL Tech, whereas PGDM Logistics and Supply Chain Management, we launched it in partnership with CII Institute of Logistics. The specializations at IMT Hyderabad, we have around 6 specializations, namely general management, human resource management, marketing, analytics, and information technology, finance, and operations. And these specializations would be open to all students who take admission in PGDM, which we say PGDM core. Whereas PGDM finance, they have to compulsorily major in finance area and then they can major in other area out of these six specializations. For marketing, likewise, marketing has to the student who has chosen PGDM marketing has to specialize in marketing as a major, and then the minor or major he can choose from the other five specializations here. Hyderabad has a fantastic locational advantage. Hyderabad, we all know, is the third best uh, green city in the world, and it is a hub for not only IT but also pharma. We have a new pharma city that is coming up at Shadnagar, which is around 20 kilometers from our institute. And we all know that we have T hubs, V hubs, and there's a lot of infrastructure that is being created in Telangana, especially, and in Hyderabad, especially, for startups and innovation companies that they want to, open up their companies here. Uh, the USP for IMT Hyderabad, if you see, is that we are greatly connected with the industry. Uh, we have something called mentoring program where the students have one-to-one mentoring from the industry leaders, where it's like they acting as mentors for these students, giving them guidance and all those stuff. We also have something called global immersion, where the students are exposed to the working culture and the practices of different countries. What kind of business culture that they have, and how is it different from the Indian setup. uh, I, the will in the discussion will of course cover all these things, but I would like to point out one thing, where we have something called practitioner sessions, which are embedded within our course. This is a huge USP. Each course, 20% of the lectures, like around 3 to 4 sessions, are being taken by the practitioners. And we define practitioner as somebody who is in the industry for more than 10 years in that particular area. So how it helps the students is that they are not only exposed to the theoretical framework that we teach in the class, but these practitioners also tell them how they are important in the company setup or the corporate setup, and how it can be applied in the corporate setup. Uh, Talking about placements, these are the figures till December. So we are on the average of 15.2 lakhs per annum, and till now we have got a highest of 25.5 lakhs per annum. We have our recruiters like PepsiCo, SR, Gati, Federal Bank. So there are plethora of companies which wants to participate in the placement process and take the bright students that IMT Hyderabad has. We also have something called international partnership from 25 foreign universities. These help the students to do exchange program with our partner universities. So after the third term, which is after second term, which is in the first year, and somewhere in the month of January, February, they are given a choice to choose where they want to spend 3 months, and they are asked to also do the similar credits that can be carried forward when they come back and join IMTH and pursue the second year with us. So it's a great chance for the students to actually go out and explore the universities, our partner universities, study there, and experience the international education in their own way. So we have a lot of clubs and committees where I think Shubhajit can elaborate when it is asked to him about it's a vibrant life that student experiences in IMT Hyderabad, and there's a unwritten saying that IMT Hyderabad never sleeps, and I think Shubhajit would second me in that case. So I now ask Andrila to take this discussion forward, and uh, can we have a discussion on some of the questions, frequently asked questions by the students regarding various campuses, or especially IMT Hyderabad campus.
Um, so I will start by asking my first question to the panel, that the current world is characterized by volatility and uncertainty. And in such a scenario, where do you think is management education headed? And how is IMT Hyderabad changing and evolving with the changing needs of management education?
Yeah, thank you, Undrila. Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm extremely happy to join conversation about IMT Hyderabad along with Mr. Subhajit Gope, who is from our third batch, one of the operations students who excelled. I think his campus placement was in BNY Mellon, then Inotics.
Yes, sir.
And then you moved to Amazon, all the while out and out operations guy.
Yes.
And I think now you are with Paytm
Yes.
in operations. So extremely happy to join you, Subhajit, in this conversation. So
Thank you, sir.
Undrila, the question which you have asked is across professionals are contemplating what is that happening across the globe, and how management education has geared up to take up these challenges. See, globally, there are three trends which are driving as we are talking. One is technology, that is digital transformation. I mean, every walk of life is being impacted by the emerging technologies like AI, ML, and some of the technologies like drone and quantum computing and so on. So one is technology trends, and the second significant trend which we are observing is sustainability. Every company across the globe, every economy is moving towards these net zero goals and sustainability goals. So that's where we see there is a significant shift happening in sustainability area. And third important thing is geopolitics. I mean, as we are talking, there are two major wars going on, and third one, I do not know whether how it will evolve. And these geopolitics and its implications on the logistics and supply chains. So keeping these three trends, I mean, I strongly believe that management institutes across the globe are to embed the content relevant to these changes in the curriculum. Okay, so we are able to do that, as Professor Pawan a while ago explained about practitioner sessions. So I think during Subhajit's time also we had this practitioner session concept where 20% of the coursework is handled by practitioners who day in, day out deal with such dynamic challenges, and those are brought to the classroom, okay, without waiting. So usually we change the curriculum once in a year, but the pace at which these changes are impacting the businesses, so within the term, Thanks to these practitioner sessions, we are able to embed or discuss about these challenges to the students in a very agile way. Maybe Subhajit can add a few more points on this. Subhajit?
Yes, yes. So the top aspects of my college life, where if I talk about one of them is the practitioner session, of course. I remember that all the practitioner sessions, whoever the practitioner came to our college, I always had a very good conversation with them, and I got a very, very knowledgeable aspect in that all those sessions, right? We once had the chairman from the BSc once, right? And then he told us about that current market scenario, which helped us a lot about to understand that where our career aspect is going to be, right? There are very top-notch consultants from different consulting company also came in operations, which helped me to build my career path in operations, around operations, as Shriyasha sir said initially, right? So yes, the practitioner session I never missed at all whenever the opportunity came, and we always try to get the best out of it.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Over to you.
So our next question, which precedes the first question, is that we've heard about these trends that Professor and you just spoke about, and there are very strong headwinds, and these changes, are they reflected in the way courses are being taught and how are programs being launched? Have teaching methodologies evolved parallelly along with these very strong trends with strong headwinds that are blowing? I mean, how would you say IMT Hyderabad is evolving?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure whether Subhajit is following the social media posts of our campus. See, looking at these broad three trends, we have started three centers, Subhajit. One is Center for Digital Transformation, the other one Center for Sustainability and CSR, and third one is Center for Leadership.
Okay.
So, I mean, we strongly believe that any B school graduate should have exposure to these three broad trends. And how do we embed the exposure in the program curriculum? One, through courses. So we have launched courses on sustainability. We have launched courses on CSR, which are core courses, not electives. And we have launched courses on emerging technologies. Okay, both as a core course and in a workshop mode. We have a course on blockchain for managers, which is offered in the first year itself. Of course, AI, ML, all those are elective courses in analytics. This is one aspect. Second one, these centers are driven by faculty as well as student cohorts. So these centers have been doing roundtable discussions and conclaves on contemporary issues in sustainability as well as in digital transformation. As we are talking, this 20th, our Synergy Club, I don't know whether that Synergy Club existed during your time. This is the HR Club of IMT Hyderabad. Right. They are organizing a HR Leadership Conclave this 20th. Okay. So one is through formal coursework, and the other one is through such outreach activities. We are making students learn the nuances of these global trends. Okay. So, and third and most important thing, all these clubs and committees, they come up with a newsletter, and then they come up with the blog posts where whatever they have learned in these three broad aspects, they are trying to put it into public domain for the consumption of the general audience. So These three trends are being very carefully embedded in the formal curriculum as well as co-curricular activities. I mean, that's how we want our students to be abreast with the latest happenings. And as far as the headwinds you are talking about, yeah, things are not so great this year. The only bright spot is India with maybe close to 7% GDP growth rate. The rest of the world is, hovering around 1 or 2% growth rates. But domestic consumption will drive the demand, and hopefully, 23 was definitely a challenging year. We are hoping that 24 will be better year. Maybe from Subhajit, I saw you are actively getting involved in this ONDC.
Yes.
So maybe you can share your perspectives on this.
Right. So recently, Government of India has come up with a lot of initiatives to democratize all the sectors or industries and services, right? So, for example, they have started UPI, that is the for obviously for payment, right? Now with ONDC, we are trying to democratizing the e-commerce perspective, right? Currently, the e-commerce is very much within the hands of very top-notch players. There are like duopoly is always going on in the market, right? Now with this ONDC is in place, there are very small retailers can also come and sell their items,
Yeah.
right, over the internet and any part of India, where one can choose their logistic partner, their technology partner, and their seller platform, basically, right? So Paytm as the consumer app, right? They are providing that platform to a lot of sellers right now. So if you go to the ONDC section of Paytm consumer app, you can get loads of different categories and all, which you can find in Amazon also. But here you will find it you will get to know the sellers basically there who are selling this, who are selling authentic things, right? Yeah, of course, the same concept is also coming into the mobility section, right?
Okay.
So the Bangalore already had that called Namma Yatri, right? Who is basically the same thing where the auto drivers can onboard themselves as one of the seller, you can say service provider, right? And then whenever you are asking for a ride, that different drivers can send their codes, and then the passenger can choose, or the consumer can choose from them that which driver he wants to ride with.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. So similar things that is also coming in the health and services skilling sectors, as well as the energy sector. For that, the government of India has already come up with the unified energy interface for battery swapping perspective.
Yes, Subhajit, I must share with you, and taking this as an opportunity, I would like to share with the potential students as well. You know, on 2nd December, the IMT Hyderabad did BFSI conclave, completely driven by Team Athena, one of the strategy clubs of IMT Hyderabad, wherein we invited the people from Asian Development Bank and several banks within India. And the theme was on inclusive banking and inclusive insurance. That's when all the speakers was mentioning about, fine, we are able to have accounts created thanks to the Jandhan layer, the JAM Trinity. The next step is this ONDC, and I'm glad that you are working in that space, Subhajit.
Sure.
And you know, all these centers which I mentioned and outreach activities are purely driven by the students. And that's how we strongly believe that the students will be able to become that business leaders which we are envisioning. You know, our vision is to nurture socially responsible business leaders.
Sure.
And through these initiatives, we strongly believe, apart from classroom sessions, these initiatives will help students mold into those business leaders.
Okay. Okay.
Professor Pawan, would you like to add anything?
Yes, sir. I just want to give an information to Shubhajit when you have spoken about workshops. I guess, at his time also there used to be workshops, but only one or two. But, as Sir said, we have, embedded it into our curriculum, course curriculum itself. You would be excited to know, Shubhajit, that the first years, at your time, it was semester system.
Yep.
Now we have term systems. So term one, term two, and term three. So we have trimester. So all these three terms, the students they have to compulsorily choose one workshop of one credit, and we float 5 workshops, every term, on various areas like leadership, people analytics, Six Sigma, Chat GPT. you know we also open like what kind of questions you can ask Chat GPT to get a right response. So all these workshops basically, are the aim of these workshop is to make students industry ready. By the time that the company would come in and interact with them, they know the emerging technologies that are there, in the industry, so they have some hands-on experience of these technologies. So it's been working for us wonders. So this is what I wanted to you know introduce it to you.
So
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
just
Andrea.
want to
Yeah.
add
right.
one more thing here, that
Yes.
being one of the initial batches, right, we pioneered many clubs. If you look at it, the finance club,
Correct.
the marketing club, of course, with our seniors, and then the operation club, the HR club, all those were established at that point of time. That I'm talking about 2013, 2014
Correct.
scenario, right? And then I used to enjoy a lot in participating those activities. Right, those are a lot of fun. There's a lot of rewards are there. Our faculties, everybody used to come and used to motivate us to join that things and participate. Right, so really we had a lot of fun, a lot of learning over there. Also, those clubs helped us to go to other institutes and join their festivals, right, in similar lines. So that was also very a big advantage of having or associating with one of the clubs, I would say.
Okay.
Subhajit, all this is fine, but we would like to know from you, how did this help you crack BNY?
Okay. Right. So, uh, Arsha sir, I will just wanted to just say one thing here, that I was very lean to operation and data analytics, if you
Okay.
thought about it, right? So the BNY Mellon is majorly a finance company, right?
Yeah.
And they came majorly to take finance people, so to
Okay.
say, right? But then when I started about my previous ORCX and my program management and the data analytics courses I have taken, uh, they decided to take me to in a very different role, and
Correct.
they didn't take from IMT Hyderabad or any other institute in that role, which is called program management role at
Yeah.
that point. So I was not involved into any finance related activities over there. I was mostly managing the product development related projects or
Yeah.
programs,
Yeah.
you can see. So the data analytics courses, of course, helped me a lot. And I would like to tell one thing, that our faculties are so approachable at that point of time. I'm sure right now they are also.
Yeah,
That
even now.
yes, of course. Yes. So whenever I have it in doubt, I can go to them and then I can have a candid discussions with them. I never found out that there is any restrictions or something like that. So those conversations helped me a lot to gain knowledge outside of the class, I would say. Right. So this is one of the factors as well, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
My next question to the panel will be to tell us about the two newly launched programs at IMT Hyderabad and how they are incorporating emerging technologies in their curriculum and addressing the future of work.
Yeah, Ondrila has been religiously doing her role of asking questions and we will have to respond. So, see, we are tracking the global trends. At the same time, we are embedding these learnings about the trends in our curriculum in bits and pieces. So we thought that it is responsive. I mean, we are responding to the situation. Then last 1 year, when the entire team at IMT Hyderabad, faculty and the management, we were contemplating how can we be different from the uh, programs which are offered by be it IIMs or be it IMTs or any other college. So PGDM is being offered by all plain vanilla PGDM is offered by all the B schools in India. So from the urge to be different and to be relevant, that's when we thought about launching two programs. One, PGDM IT, Information Technology, and PGDM Logistics and Supply Chain Management. As Professor Pawan was mentioning about in the initial presentation, that IT, this is launched in partnership with HCL Tech. Whereas Logistics and Supply Chain Management, this program is launched in partnership with CI Institute of Logistics. Being in Hyderabad, we thought we should focus on offering super specialization with sectorial focus to our students. First one is an IT, the other one is logistics and e-commerce, and third one healthcare and pharma. So we started our journey with the first two, IT and logistics, and maybe as years to come, we might launch a program on pharma and healthcare. But you know, the uniqueness of these two programs is right from designing, delivery, and absorption of the students. In all these aspects, companies are involved. Like HCL Tech is involved right from admission stage to absorption, that is placements. So there is a very clear-cut direction to all the 30 students who will be enrolling in this PGDM IT right from day one, that what role they are going to take up 2 years hence and in which company. So similar kind of initiative is done even with CI Institute of Logistics. CI Institute of Logistics has got some 30 odd clients ranging from consulting firms like McKinsey and PwC to shipping companies and logistics companies and e-commerce companies. So we are experimenting with this idea that as we move on, specialized skills are required with, of course, with managerial skills. So how we are positioning this PGDM IT as techno-managerial course, whereas the logistics program is logistics, technical skills of logistics and managerial skills. Both will be embedded in this program. So this is a humble attempt made by IMT Hyderabad, and we want to try with 30 and see how it pans out. So how do you see this initiative, Subhajit, from the other side? I mean, if you were the student,
was
the
about
grad
talking
thought we are launching this, but if you were the student, how do you see this?
So I am very much excited about this. Like, there are a lot of new courses are coming up. I wish we would have these courses at that point of time, especially the logistic and supply chain you're talking about,
Yeah.
right? And the company's name, of course, you are also talking about, right? So I am from a computer science background before coming to IMT Hyderabad, right? So of course, PGDM IT would have been the most exciting things for me. But then, of course, in IMT Hyderabad, I got so much aspects of different things in the first year, right? Finance, marketing, and operations. And that's how I've been leaned towards that. So yes, of course, the other course, right? The supply chain and logistic, right? That is also very career specific. This will open up a lot of new opportunity for the students as well, to choose the career path well, so to say, right? Yeah, so I'm very much confident about these new courses, sir. Right?
Yeah. And we want to venture into many more. I mean, how we are visualizing landscape for IMT Hyderabad is there will be a plain vanilla MBA program, and there will be basket of industry track programs, which will be offered in partnership with companies. And what is the advantage for the company? Their training time period, they will be able to reduce from maybe 6 to 9 months to 1 or 2 months. So having identified upfront the talent, 2 years they're going to nurture the talent, and right from day one they'll be billable or ready to use talent. I mean, that's the idea, and we are only hoping that it will work in the way we intended.
Yeah, yeah. This is very much required because whenever we join a new company, right, it takes time to learn about their culture and their expectation, right? If they are setting it up very early at the very early stage, then from the first day itself, the employee becomes deliverable, and that is very much, towards the company's value creation as well.
Yeah.
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 My,
Urmila?
my next question is for Shubhajit. Shubhajit, can you please take us through your professional journey after your, completing your PGDM program at IMT Hyderabad? And my second question to you will be about your campus life in IMT Hyderabad. This will give a wonderful insight to all our attendees today and also aspiring applicants to IMT Hyderabad. How vibrant was it? And how did it help you in your professional life, if it at all did, right? So please take us through it.
Sure. So I am currently managing the customer and merchant experience in Paytm, right? So IMT Hyderabad. So to complete that journey, right? I'm most probably I will be jumping from one question to another to answer the both, right? So the knowledge and the skill sets which I have learned from this institute, right, that helped me prepare for this very dynamic environment of the MNCs and the what do you say, the startups, so to say, because I joined BNY Mellon immediately from a campus placement, right? But then I moved to Amazon, Ola, and then Paytm, right? And Ola was basically a very startup environment at that point of time when I joined, because I joined Ola Financial Services and I have developed the entire process of Ola Financial Service, so to say, right? So this is in short, right? In Amazon, I have also worked throughout the warehouse program management piece. And right now, as we discussed earlier, in Paytm, I am currently managing the merchant experience, merchant business piece, as well as the consumer piece. So this is in a nutshell about my career path right now. To talk about the campus life and how did it help, I'm not sure how can I complete this in a shorter span of time. This is like a a variety of experience I had over here in terms of my seniors, my batchmates, and my faculties. I'm all thankful to them, right? I have learned a lot from all of them. Of course the courses, the guidance from the faculties, the nurturing by our seniors, of course, that helped a lot to shape up my career, to understand that where I wanted to go, basically, right? As I said, that I didn't have any idea about how the operations and its relevant job opportunities are there in the market. But then when I came here, I attended the sessions of operations, and then I attended the workshops, the practitioner sessions over here. I found a lot of insights into it, basically, right? And then I planned for my career accordingly, right? Also, during this course, I got to know a lot of information about the new product launches, which also helped me to choose separate aspects of corporate life. For an example, other than the operation, I am also managing products and program launches in my current organizations, right? So yes, the new product management or new product launch course, that helped me a lot over there, actually. So And the last but not the least, I would like to talk about the internship program which the institute provides. I would suggest every aspiring students who will be joining IMT Hyderabad to take the internship program very seriously in a very focused way. I got an opportunity in L&T, right? And that provided me a different aspect of my career, which is called procurement. I didn't know about procurement before. How did it work? Right? So, and then I worked in and out of procurement, starting from identifying the vendor to selecting the quotes and then finalizing the agreements over there in 3 months. So it was a and the guide over there, right? I would say he is a tremendous person. He helped me to gather a lot of knowledge over there also. So yes, this is in nutshell about my IMT life, right? I would also say all the aspiring students to learn a lot, take the case study sessions very seriously, take the internship very seriously over here, because that will help you to shape up your career in future, of course. Right.
So, Shubhajit, in your journey from say 2015, 2015 is when you got this batch of IMT, right? So, did IMT as a brand help you in progression of your career? Um, you know, so can you talk about it?
Yes, sure. Uh, I would like to talk about that. It not only helped me, but it also helped me. It also helped me to get a recognition in the company as well, right? So first of all, I would like to say that whenever I was going for any interview, right, they were talking when they heard about IMT, right? They were very much got interested into it because they are from the other campuses of IMT who were the interviewers over there in those companies. I'm talking about Amazon, I'm talking about Paytm and Ola, right? And then when they heard about the Hyderabad campus, they got very excited about it, and they asked me a lot of questions about how the life in IMT Hyderabad, right? So that's how I built a connection with the interviewer, with the company as well, and then it helped me to have that interview cracked, so to say, right? Also, in terms of career progression, whenever you know I meet a lot of people, right, and then we discuss that, then they also ask about my educational background, and then they also get very excited about that I'm from IMT, right? Right, yeah. So the kind of uh, the knowledge, the skill sets, I'm again saying that my institution gave me, right? It helped me a lot to set up that connection with the person in conversation.
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful.
My next question to the panel will be for suggestions to our aspiring candidates. As you all are aware, this is the season when all aspiring B school candidates for the batch of 2024 to 26 are very keen on applying to IMT. And what would be, we have very little time. We cannot answer all their questions regarding admissions. They have end-to-end questions. But in a nutshell, they want to know what are the requirements from who is an ideal candidate, who is an ideal aspirant for a brand like IMT. And what do we see when we are looking at a candidate, whether during checking of the critical thinking papers or during personal interviews or their application forms, what are the requirements?
Best person would be Professor Pawan.
Sir, to the aspirants, I would rather have only one suggestion, that whatever they have done till now, in terms of studies, in terms of their activities or whatever it is again a start from scratch when they are into MBA program, because believe me, even Subhajit will also second me that the MBA curriculum, or the way, the pedagogy that we use for MBA education is entirely different from the traditional pattern that students might have been exposed till now. They'll be in a shock, like, what is this case study? What is all about, understanding about case study? How would we crack the case study? I spoke about the workshops. What are these workshops about? Maybe it's a kind of fun for them in their engineering or in their bachelor's, but here it's a serious business. So all this stuff, so they have to um, unlearn whatever they might have learned till now, and then see their MBA as something which is start of their professional career, right from the first year of MBA. And it doesn't matter, MBA is a wonderful course which does not require any specific background. You might be an MBBS, you might be a bachelor's of arts, you might be a bachelor of science, you might be engineer, you might be an agriculture engineer, you might be a business guy. It doesn't matter. MBA is such a beautiful course that that will actually give you a head start to if you want to pursue or open up your startups or open up your business, do your business. This will help you a lot. It will actually create a kind of networking for all of you, uh, in this kind of a course. So um, take it as a life changing course for the aspirants. I'm talking to the aspirants, that take it as a life changing course. See to it as something which you can use it as a medium to go forward in your life. I think you all will agree to me. Shubhajit, what is your take on it?
I second your thoughts, sir. So, as I said, that this institute provides a lot of opportunity to learn and shape your career path. Right now, the aspirants has to choose that very wisely. Right, where you want to go. There are a lot of guidance given by the faculty and the senior batch, always. So take it wisely, use it, and then you can open up a lot of opportunity in front of you whenever after 2 years you will land into a corporate job, right? As I said that I was only learning operation and data analytics, right? But the other courses helped me to take up opportunities of product management and program management as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so everything, whatever you can have here, just take it, right? And use it very wisely. That is the only suggestion I could have.
Okay. Sir,
Yeah,
director sir, as
as closing thoughts, let me just share with all the aspiring students that the next phase for you guys is personal interview and critical thinking test phase. So it will be a half an hour rigorous conversation with panel of faculty members, and we try to make it more rigorous only to understand whether you will be able to sustain the 2 year rigorous academic program which you will undergo. Okay, so when this program is designed on KSA framework where knowledge is imparted through courses, skills are honed, and then abilities are developed. So, will you be able to sustain the 2 year fully residential rigorous program? Is what we're going to understand through half an hour conversation, which will happen between you and the faculty members of IMT group. So, I can only wish all the potential students best of luck, and do well in your next phase of admission process, that is personal interview and critical thinking test, and hope to see you in one of our campuses. Over to you, Andrila.
Pawan sir, do you have anything to add to this?
Nothing. It has been a wonderful, conversation with our director and our beloved Subhajit. Uh, you know, we get so much. As a faculty, I would tell you that we get so much of motivation and encouragement when we see our successful students, in the corporate world, that makes us work hard and put our uh, more than 100% effort in the class so that we see another Subhajit out there from the current batch and the coming batches. So it gives us a lot of pressure when a lot of pleasure when we see our successful students in the market, right? So I thank our director, Professor Sriharsha Reddy, that he has given his invaluable insight, in this conversation, which definitely would have helped the students, especially about the new two courses that we launched. They might have got good insights about it and how they can see these courses in the coming months. Thank you, sir. And Shubhajit, as always, thanks a lot. And I know you have a very hectic schedule today, but thanks to you that you agreed to give your time from 2:30 to 3:30. And I know that now you have to hard stop at around 4 o'clock and get to the other meeting. Of course, from the horse's mouth, when aspirants listen to, we as an institute can say a lot of things, but from the horse's mouth, when something positive comes out, when their experiences are shared with the aspirants, they feel energetic. They feel, they would be looking at them as I'm also Subhajit, so that kind of a feeling that the students will get from might have got from your insights. Thank you, Shubhajit, for being part of this
Very,
conversation.
very thoughtful words, sir. Thank you so much for the inspirations, and you all are still inspirations for us. That is our
Thank you.
practice.
Thank you, Shubhajit. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for allowing me that opportunity to talk about my institutes.
The pleasure is always with us, Shubhajit. Yeah.
Okay, Professor,
Andril,
thanks a lot.
thank you, sir.
So now we come to the end of our discussion. We will move on to our next institute, IMT Nagpur, and I invite our speakers and our moderators and hosts in IMT Nagpur to please take over from here.
Thank you, Andrila. Just one second. Apeksha, just one second because my video is not coming.
Yes, sir.
Sridhar.
You are visible, sir. Apeksha,
Yes, sir.
just wait for 2 more minutes. It's still
Fine, sir.
not 3:30. Our
Yes, sir.
time starts at 3:30.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm fine. Now I'm here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see you and hear you as well. No
All
problem.
right. Thank you.
Once it's 3:30, we'll start the session. Apeksha, I'll let you know.
Okay, sir.
Yes, you can now start the session,
Yes,
please.
sir. Thanks, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of IMT Nagpur, I welcome you all in today's webinar on Director's Cut. Today's speaker is the director of IMT Nagpur, Dr. Bigyan Verma. Dr. Verma taught finance at XLRI, one of the top B schools in India, for a decade, and thereafter worked for J. Morgan Stanley as a senior investment banker. Dr. Verma holds a PhD in finance, MBA with specialization in strategy and finance, master in business economics from Delhi University, and is a gold medalist in Master of Commerce. He was an adjunct professor for Carleton University, Canada, and a visiting faculty at IIM Kohikode for several years. Dr. Verma held several honorary positions, including President of the Indian Association of Autonomous Business Schools, Executive Committee Board members for NHRD, Mumbai Chapter, Bombay Management Association, and Joint Secretary for Indo-American Society. I would request the Director of IMT Nagpur, Dr. Verma, to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Apeksha. Thank you, Apeksha. And on behalf of my faculty, staff, our alumni, and the students, I welcome all the prospective students who are on a cusp of building another wonderful decision, which will shape their future forever. In this interaction, I am planning to just take you through a little bit of what we are. The IMT Nagpur is as one of the institutions of IMT Group, and tell you as to what is a little different with regard to IMT Nagpur. You know what? A lot of change, with after the experience, having an experience at XLRI or IIMs or in Canada, I have realized that the world is changing so fast that it is absolutely necessary for us to keep ourselves updated. And therefore, I'm planning to have take you through a bit of a presentation, a short presentation from my side, and then I'll request my colleague, Professor Sayan Banerjee, to take over. So just give me a moment to upload my presentation. Can you see this? Hello?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
All right, good. So welcome, good afternoon, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity for us to take the prospective students through the IMT Nagpur as to what we are. But let me, we're following a particular agenda, which a substantial part of that will be covered by my colleague, Professor Sayan Banerjee, from the area of economics and general management. And a little bit of initial introduction I'll give you. What I feel, the kind of changes which have taken in the past few years, especially after COVID-19 and all kinds of uncertainties which have taken place in the past few years, I really, really feel that the B schools, tomorrow's B schools, have to be very, very different. Gone are those days where the traditional style of teaching or dealing with the subjects will have to undergo a lot of change. Our students have to be ready. For me, what I believe that the B school, for them, the future is not what they will do in the future. For B schools, future is what they will do today. And we need to prepare today for our students who will really be relevant in the future. Because otherwise, if we don't follow that, the Schumpeterian in economics, we're all aware of it, the creative destruction will crowd us, the traditional B school, absolutely out of the scope as such. And we also know that today we need to be hardworking, we need to be intelligent, and if we lack integrity, the third one, the lack of integrity, will kill the first two. And that's the reason why the entire value system of IMT Nagpur is based on what we call as ethics and integrity as such. And we also know that over a period of time, what students will not remember the courses and the faculty, but they will definitely remember the experiential focus of the business schools. And that's exactly what we try to focus on. For us, all the 32 faculty we have on the campus, for us and our students, they're not just the sage on the stage, they're actually the guide by the side for each one of them. So that's a kind of environment in which we groom our students, because we believe that these are the last 2 years of the students' academic career, which will probably remain with them forever. And from there only, the growth will begin. we are driven by our values and mission and visions. And as you can see here, we really want to be recognized as a key contributor to innovative management education. So the word innovation, and the entire world has become innovative. The way the disruptions are taking place, without innovation, there's nothing. Without creative mind, there's nothing. So we focus a lot on innovation and creative mind, and we really want to develop. Our mission is to develop professionals who are kind of driven by the industry curriculum, and that kind of applied scholarship really. And we really believe in sustainability, and that's going to be the future for the entire world as such. So, Stephen Covey, probably would have come across a book by Stephen Covey called 7 Habits of Highly Successful Managers. And since the business school is based on that kind of fundamental, we have our own 7 habits. And anything and everything which we do here at the campus, these are the 7 habits which we remain at the core of what we perform. Number 1 is the scholastic advancements. Essentially, like our academics is extremely, I would say, dynamic. We keep on changing courses almost every year. A substantial portion of the courses or the curriculums are changed to keep up the pace of the changing world as such. That's number 1. We also may want to make sure that our brands remain amongst the top B schools in the country, because that's how the students also get recognized. Our outstanding placement support is absolutely phenomenal, which you'll realize in the later part of this presentation. A very extremely beautiful and attractive part of our program is what we call as a global immersion program. So we take our students, we join hands with almost about 25, 26 foreign B schools. And that's where our students, some of the students who opt to go for that, they go for it. And the entire program is based on what we call as experiential learning. Our campus, you'll realize, we'll show you some of the pictures, is a very safe and healthy, pure air. The kind of atmosphere we have here on the campus is absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, we also maintain a strategic alliances with the corporate, with foreign institutions and alumni. And we focus on what we call as not just the knowing part or the doing part, but also the being part. That meta skill, which will survive in the future, is what we really, really focus on. I would now request Professor Sayan Mukherjee Banerjee to take over and take all the students through who we are here on the campus as such. Over to you, Professor Sayan.
Thank you, sir. Sir, if you can close the presentation at your end, then
Okay.
I can start from my end.
Sure. Done.
Give me just a minute. I'll
Yes,
upload
sir.
the presentation. So sir has covered up to these points. I hope it's visible to all of you. I'll take the presentation further by talking about some of the facilities that you can enjoy while you are in the campus, some of the unique, how do I put it, unique selling point of the institute, and some of the recent development that are taking place in our campus, and in future we will continue with. So the first thing that sir has already hinted to all of you is that your first impression of the institute when you walk in and see a campus that is spread across 27 acres and it's filled with various hues of green. It's greenery in all possible shades, shape and sizes, give you a sense of calm and serenity and give you an enabling environment to think. Because see, what happens is, if we live in a world that is full of noise and distraction and hustle and bustle, we don't get time to reflect, to think. We just somehow survive. We keep meeting the ends. But this is where you get the serene environment, the calming effect that let you stay focused, think, and create ideas. Coming to the next slide, these are some of the aspects of the program that you should know about in case you are not aware. So we are a 20-year-old institute, and our program was approved within 1.5 years of our existence, that is in 2006. 2004, we started with the program, and 2006 itself, we got the AICTE approval, which means your degree and the diploma that you receive from the institute is recognized by all the relevant stakeholders. Another important thing that many of the B school would not be able to offer is that even though it's a diploma program, therefore it's a postgraduate diploma in management, but it has been granted an equivalence of MBA by Association of Indian Universities, that is AIU, makes it a MBA even though it's a diploma program, which basically allows you to pursue further studies like a doctoral program, etc., without taking up any MS program. Okay. And some of the government organizations that insist on a degree, postgraduate degree, you can use this PGDM as a degree and not a diploma because it's been given MBA equivalence. Our programs have received our first international accreditation, SACS, which is offered by the South Asian organization. So all the members of the SAARC nation, there is a centralized organization that accredited the program. And as you can see in the last point, we are in the final stage of receiving AACSB accreditation, an accreditation body based in United States. And once we get that, which we are very confident we'll definitely get, we will be one of the very few institutes in the country, maybe not even 1% of the institutes that are in existence in the B school universe. Not to talk about the other national accreditation like NBA and all three programs. I'll describe and discuss those three programs are accredited by NBA. The importance of accreditation is this. An accreditation is a far more rigorous and far more difficult process to undergo and receive than a mere ranking. Because majority of the ranking institutes, they never visit your campus, they do not check in person the documents and the processes and things that you claim. They take it at the face value, and whatever you provide them with, they give you ranking accordingly. So it's easy to manipulate ranking, but not accreditation process, which in some cases like ACSB goes on for 3 to 5 years. And 5 years of rigorous assessment allows you to get the accreditation. So when you join IMT Nagpur, you are joining a program that is next to no other institute's program when it comes to the quality, the rigor, and the process that is followed in this institute. As I was saying, all three programs that we offer, they are accredited by NBA, National Board of Accreditation. Now, the three programs that we offer are PGDM, PGDM Marketing, and PGDM Financial Management. These three programs have evolved over 3 different timelines, considering the economy's requirement, the job opportunities, and also the kind of students we get as our student in this institute. The oldest one is obviously the PGDM with which we started, and PGDM Financial Management was, or rather is still the newest one, but even then it's almost more than 12-year-old. So we have these programs running over a decade and in some cases over 2 decades. The functional areas that you can specialize in after you have received your admission in this institute are in these different fields, depending on your aptitude, your interest, and also whatever suggestion you receive from us based on your first year's performance. You can choose either of the 6 as your area of specialization or 2, because we have dual specialization opportunities as well. And then you can go ahead and choose them to build your career based on your specialization. Now, these are some of the very new and kind of cutting edge, if I be a little kind of easy on use of the word, that we offer in different fields, as you can see, from the field of finance to marketing and OBHR. And if you look at the headlines of this or the titles of these programs, you understand that our program always keeps pace with the market, the economy, global trend, and what the other premier B schools in the world and in the country are offering. So you would not miss out on any of the new courses, new skills, new areas of expertise that are emerging in the country or in the world. As you can see that our teaching and learning process is not just confined to classroom teaching or just one aspect of some use of business cases. There are multiple avenues, there are multiple ways, there are multiple pedagogical tools that we use, starting from bridge courses that are offered during the orientation part of the program, where people of different academic backgrounds are brought at par with their peers. So you are an art student, class 10 was the last time you have studied mathematics. All these years you have not studied mathematics, but our program requires you to have some at least moderately higher skill in mathematics. There will be a bridge course for it. You are not comfortable with programming and coding, there is a bridge course for it. And thereby we'll make sure that when the real program starts, no one is at a disadvantage because of their academic background. So we have business simulation, project, group discussion, role play, you name it, it's there. And we make sure that the learning process and the teaching process is multifaceted, multi-channel, and it addresses every possible skill sets that you need to be a successful manager and business leader. Now, an institute is not made of brick and mortar, and an institute is definitely not only the physical infrastructure. The backbone of an institute are their faculty. And these are some of the information that you should know about our faculty. I would like you to look at the last point, that our faculty members, their teaching efforts are complemented and supplemented by visiting and guest faculties from various IIMs and even some of the foreign B schools as well. We have faculty from other countries who offer a full-fledged courses. Last year, we had offered a course on business analytics from a faculty who was from Neoma Business School, which is located in Paris. It was on business analytics. Quite a popular course. We found a ways and means to deliver the course to the students of this institute from a faculty who's based in Paris. As I was talking to you about the strength of the backbone of an institute are their faculty and obviously the enabling environment. And you can see that in a faculty, you don't just see a teacher. You don't just see a person who delivers a lecture, prepares a question paper, evaluates the answer papers and all. But you can see faculty as your mentor. The faculty can also train you. They can help you. You can treat them as a consultant, and they are not just consultant for you. They also work as a consultant to the industry, right? And they also work as visiting faculty in reputed institutes, including the IIMs. So if you are learning, if you are undergoing a program in IMT Nagpur, please understand the quality of faculty who is teaching you, where you are being trained and who is mentoring you and guiding you, are as good as the ones you get in the IIMs. So in no way there is a compromise in the quality of teaching and learning process. I'm not going to dwell much on these parts because I'll show you some of the pictures where these things could be seen. Just for your parents and relatives who are slightly concerned that it's a residential campus, you stay 24/7. What if something untoward happen, God forbid, to you? Look at the point number 6. We have ambulance facility and a doctor on campus with a lady nurse and a dispensary that can definitely give you the immediate treatment, God forbid, if at all that is needed. You can tell them that they can rest assured not only your comforts are taken care of in terms of food and lodging and other things, and also the games that are there, football and basketball, etc. Even your safety, security, hygiene, and health are the responsibilities of this institute. Now, these are some of the glimpses of the campus. It's a virtual tour for some of you who may not find time to come over here and see it for yourself before you take the admission. These are the various hostels, and we have separate hostel for boys and girls. These are the classrooms, different types of classroom. On the left-hand side corner, you can see the newly built smart classroom, right? So for health enthusiasts, there is a fully equipped gym. And then for ones who are more focused on their brain, there is a library that remains 24/7 open. And as I was saying, that teaching is not just a lecture-based kind of exercise here. You are given exposure to learn things firsthand by opting for various lab-based courses, and they range from business statistics to leadership to applied business intelligence, data visualization, and a lot of them. So the learning is not just a theory, but it is learning through your experience, learning by doing it, and we make sure you have those facilities available to you. The impeccable faculty members are very well supported by the corporate guests. On an average, we have more than 100 corporate guests in a year who visit from different industries and share with you the very latest of the practices and latest of the development that are happening in the industry. You can see their names, right? I would like you to focus on some names like Professor V.G. Narayanan, who was from Harvard Business School, Anindya Sen, who had come down from Indian Institute of Management, and then we have people coming from Morgan Stanley and Lowell Intus, and there are many such. It's just an indicative list, not just an exhaustive. These are the people who do not need any introduction. These are the most well-recognized, most well-known, and of course, most well-respected names in the corporate world. They have visited the campus in various times, at the time of convocation, at the time of inaugural of the program. And these are some of the photographs that you can see. So the accreditation that we have received and we continue to receive help us build an image of an organization as an institute that meets not just the Indian, but even the global standards of education. And that is seen in the fact that we have more than 25 foreign universities and B school with which we have student exchange program. We have MOU with them. Last year, we had some 11 or 12 students who went from here to University of Paris for a one trimester program, right? 3 years, obviously, due to COVID, we had to kind of put a break on it. But this year, that number is bound to be much higher. And we expect more students from abroad to visit our campus as well and spend a trimester here. So both the foreign students and our students going to the foreign country gets exposure of a very different kind the cultural differences, the different ways of doing businesses, a different business environment, and how do the learning process take place in those different cultural and economic domain. It's a lifelong learning and experience. You'd like to keep it with yourself. So these are, as I have said, some of our prominent partners. Majority of them are based in Europe, some in Australia, some in United States, and in Asia also we have one or two, including South Korea, right? Our campus is always full of activities that are driven by the students. Obviously, the faculty would be there to enable the activities. They are more like an enabler, but the driving force are the students. We allow you to test your managerial skill. We allow you to see your leadership abilities by offering you to lead and be a part of different committees and different student-driven sales that take care of a lot of campus-related activities, starting with Campus Oxygen and DG Gauge and Zero Miles Committee, etc., etc. Each would have some important and significant project that they undertake with a certain deadline, some budget constraint, a need to identify fund, promoting the event, and getting it done without any glitch. What's that? Other than running a business. It's just that in business, you have to show some profit on the books of account. And here you will have to show that your classmates are extremely happy with the endeavor that you undertake. But it's just another business. Now, this is an important part that many of us may not be aware of. The course fee of our program is 15 lakhs, but this includes your hostel facilities, your food, your textbook, your alumni membership, your library membership, your access to the computer lab, and even the caution money. So effectively, it's not even 15 lakhs, to be honest, because the caution money that you pay at this time, it is returned to you once you complete the program. And another important thing, we do not insist on one single payment. This 15 lakh could be paid over 6 trimesters. So at no point in time, you are under tremendous financial pressure to get a lot of fund. Many of the B schools do that. Many of the B schools tell you that the program fee is 12 lakhs, and then when you join, they charge you 4 lakhs for the hostel, 2 lakhs for food, and another 1 lakh for textbook. Not us. This is your total expense. And if you are frugal, if you are good with managing your money, trust me, your monthly expense would not exceed more than 500 rupees. So this is something you should know. Plus, look at the generous scholarship that we offer, right? There is the total fee waiver scheme for economically weaker sections, and that could be as much as 5% of the intake, which is 18 students, and 40% to anyone who manages a score of 90 percentile and above in CAT and XAT and 650 in GMAT. And for all female students, no other condition attached, we will offer 20% of the academic fees as the scholarship. Now this is Srimati Leelanath Memorial Scholarship. Now this runs into lakhs of rupees, and the institute shell out crores of rupees in scholarship. The only reason the scholarships are offered is to make sure that no meritorious students miss out on higher education just because of financial difficulty or some of the social constraint. We understand for girl student, unfortunately, but it's a reality. A post-graduation program is always subject to a lot of resistance. And if we give you more than 2 lakh rupees as a scholarship, we lower your overall cost of education, improve your ROI, you can really have a say with your parents and relatives as to why this is not a program that is very expensive for you. And obviously, the meritorious students, we want them in good number. We want them to join our institute, and money should not be any problem for them. You have merit, you have our support. Now, this is possibly something that we cannot not talk about, because at the end of the day, you definitely like to know what all these things end with, right? What all these things lead to. So our placement process is going on. Hopefully in a month's time, it will get over. That's generally the trend. And mind you, for the last 3 years, we have been able to place 100% of our students. COVID year was the only year where the placement was only 96%, which for many B school is a dream figure, but not for us. We insist on 100% placement, and we have been able to achieve this. We'll continue to achieve that. So it's going on right now. So the figures that I'm going to give you is just an interim placement report, not the final or the full placement report, right? So as of now, the highest package that one of our student has managed to get is 36.33 lakhs. The average of all the students who have been placed so far is 11.26 lakh. And the median is 10 lakhs. And as you see that this is in process, we will hope that all these numbers, when the overall placement season gets over and the last person is placed, we would be able to show you a even better figure than this. But mind you, our highest is now 80% already higher than last year. The average is more than 10% comparison to last year. Median has remained more or less the same, but we'll definitely see to it that we end up with far better figures, and it is worth your while, your time, effort, money to spend 2 years in our institute. Now, these are the various companies where, or the sectors where the placement happens. It's no wonder that the BFSI, right, and IT and IT-enabled services dominate the placement, right? But we have a very well spread placement record running from consulting to retail to FMCG, you name it, you have it. These are some of the prominent recruiters of the institute. Most of them are repeat customers, as in they have come earlier, they are very happy with the selection, they want to come again, and they keep coming back because they are very happy with the quality of the students that we offer to them as their employees. Our summer internship process is also right now going on, right? It's almost over, maybe a few weeks, and we will complete it. So far, the average has been 22,000 plus. The median stipend has been 30,000, and the highest has been 1 lakh. We definitely do not promise that every summer internship will be a paid one, but trust us, most of you will end with a paid stipend, right? And you can expect anywhere between 30 to 40,000 as the stipend amount. And if you can crack it well, you can get as much as 1 lakh or maybe 1.25 lakh, which was last year's highest. So these are some of the sectors where we have placed students for their summer internship, just like the final placement. Again, there is a varied one, right? Services dominate, followed by IT, ITES, and BFSI, more or less the same trend as you can see. And we hope to complete it in just a few weeks' time. And every year we end up having 100% summer internship placement. This year would not be any exception. So these are summer internship companies that have come for offering summer internship. These are some of the major names, right? CRISIL and Capgemini and all these things. And finally, the alumni who will be your additional support system along with the institute and the faculty members. As I had said in the beginning, we are a 20-year-old institute, which means we have a very strong alumni network with more than 5,000, right? And these people, in their various roles in Alumni Connect series that we have, help you to either get a job or get the funding for a startup that you have planned, or they help you to change your job. And in several ways, even if you are thinking about higher education and all, they can still act as a guide for you, right? So at any level, these alumni would be of tremendous help. And this is one of our strengths. Because remember, even the IIMs, especially the newer ones, cannot give you alumni who are at a senior level management because they themselves are hardly 5-6 years old. So their first batch that has graduated would be at best at a medium level in the corporate, where the guy who has graduated 18 years before from IMT Nagpur, they are at a C-suite level. So you can expect an MD and a CEO of an organization who is a graduate of IMT Nagpur and not really the newer IIMs. We are not trying to demean anyone. We are not trying to compare ourselves with others. But please understand, a strong alumni network is a very, very important source of your networking and your future endeavor and your future success. And we can offer you that. So with this, I end my part of the presentation, which was a continuation of the presentation made by our director, sir. Now, enough from director, sir, and me as far as the institute and what the institute offers. Now you would listen from the people who actually have graduated from this institute at different timeline. They are at different organizations at different levels. We have invited them. Now they will talk to you and share with you their experience, their learning, their takeaways, and how do they see the institute after graduating from here maybe 10, 12 years before. Why are they still coming back and becoming a part of this session? So I return it to Ms. Apeksha to continue with this presentation.
Thank you, Sayan sir. Let me introduce you all. Our today's first alumni, Mr. Goldie Goel. Mr. Goel is from batch 2014-2016 and currently working as marketing manager at Blue Star Limited. I request Mr. Goel to share his experience while studying at IMT Nagpur. Over to you, Goldie.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Apeksha. And
Thank
thank you, IMT Nagpur, for giving me this opportunity to talk to the students and to the prospects, probably who are having a lot of doubts in their mind, whether this will happen, that will happen, and all of that. So probably I'll take a couple of minutes and talk about those things, probably which I also went through when I was in this particular tenure, when I was looking at shortlisting and finalizing my B school also. So just to quickly give a background, my name is Goldie Goel. I had completed my bachelor's in business administration from St. Xavier's College, Calcutta, and I had no work experience at all. So probably a lot of you, would relate to me. So I had a lot of queries that what should be the primary key things that I take into consideration before shortlisting the institute and finalizing it. So probably if I were to comment, there are four major pillars that you should look at an institute. One is the academic, the infrastructure, the extracurricular activities, and fourth, whether the real-time learning is happening or not. For me, the definition of management is pretty simple. It is learning in real time. And I'm very glad that, I made this decision of joining IMT Nagpur, because the kind of exposure and the kind of opportunities and infrastructure that I got from the institute was unparalleled to any other. And when I say this, I have my own reasons to back it up. I'm sure the academics and the faculty that the campus has on offer, that is best in class, and the way in which the entire curriculum is structured, it ensures that at the end of 2 years you are well versed with your academics and your concept. But what is unique and what is very personal to IMT Nagpur is the time that you spend at the campus apart from academics. And I'm primarily talking about the extracurricular activities over here. I don't think a lot of colleges give you this exposure or give you this opportunity. For that matter, colleges that keep visiting IMT Nagpur, they are in awe that how robust or how strong this side of a B school can be. Like we recently had IM Nagpur visiting IMT Nagpur, and I happened to be in campus at that point in time. The real time feedback was that we are doing things that IM Nagpur has not even thought about. So that is where I say that the extracurricular activities is the competitive edge that IMT gives you, and how it helps you in real time corporate world is it makes you ready for a lot of things. Like for example, when you are party to extracurricular activities, you learn management concepts. The first one being time management. As part of your B school, obviously you are there to learn academics, theories, submit reports, presentations. But when you get involved into an extracurricular activities, you have added time pressure on you. So that is where you start learning about time management, how to balance both the ends. So time management in real time, that is what you are expected when you join a corporate, because no one's gonna work at your pace. You have to adapt to the pace of the working stream. So that is one major learning of this particular extracurricular activity. Second, you might be the best in your small domain right now, but when you join a B school or when you join IMT Nagpur, you are now competing with the best of their own domains, right? A lot of different demography, a lot of different geographies people come from. So that is where it's more like a intra competition between students, and that is where you try and excel and be the best, be the number one. Third, the public relation. You meet people from different geographies, speaking different languages, and then you bond with them. You spend 2 full years, with these individuals in a specified environment. So that is where you learn about different cultures. You learn about different way of looking at life. So that is more of a peer learning or understanding of ways of handling things differently in real time. Fourth is how you can get creative. So when you are in a group, in a niche group or a larger group, you look at people approaching the same subject or the same topic in different ways, and that is where your thought process get expanded. That okay, if I am not thinking about this in this particular way, the other person is thinking it in a better way. That is where you grasp. And all of these concepts, when you learn and you practice this in real time over the span of 2 years, once you enter into corporate, trust me, you guys, this is something that differentiates from you the larger lot. This is what gives you that competitive advantage. Your manager is putting a task on Grab, saying that this is what is to be done. You immediately respond to it that okay, I am not worried about time management. I don't. Something like a public relation doesn't really bother me. You will grab it with both hands. Whereas the other B school students who might be sitting or occupying the same room may be thinking about it, whether it will be too taxing for me. So that is what differentiates you from the other lot. And I think the overall development that IMT gives you as an individual, that transition from a classroom to boardroom, that transition from being corporate ready is very smooth. It is not sudden. It doesn't happen over weeks. It happens over months, and it is well planned, well structured. I personally was part of the marketing forum and also the part of the forum that organizes cultural activities and events. So today, when I sit with my HR, I can relate to them real time. Obviously, I'm part of the marketing team at Blue Star, so different campaign ideas that probably I could think about it then, or probably I heard from my peers at that point in time. I really talk about it in corporate also, and I think that has really helped me to differentiate and have my own place in the organization. So that is where I am 8 years down the line, still feeling very proud of the fact that I have an alma mater that has contributed so much to my personal development. And apart from this, another USP of IMT Nagpur is the space or the environment that the campus provides you. The lush green campus with best-in-class kind of infrastructure in terms of academics. The classrooms are well equipped in terms of technology. The sports is well equipped in terms of football field, basketball, badminton, you name it, you have it. So that is also something that kind of helps you take your own time out from the burnout. Yes, when you are doing the same thing day in day out within the same environment with seeing the same set of faces day in day out, you tend to have your own burnout, right? So this is what helps you regroup, take your time out and get back at it even more stronger. So that is another thing that you get. And I will not name it, but there are B schools that don't even have a campus of their own. You walk across the corridor and the name of the college also changes. So 20 some acres of campus and the best in class infrastructure that you get, that is really something that helps you develop overall. Apart from this, I think one more factor that IMT has really helped me to reach where I am today is the placement drive that the campus organizes. So just to inform you all, Blue Star Limited was my campus placement. So I joined Blue Star as a management trainee back in 2016. And today I'm operating in the same organization as the marketing manager, covering both domestic, international, ATL, BTL. So as a marketer, which was my aim in life to excel as a marketing professional and have my own mark, I am already in that process, and I am very proud in saying that the first foundation stone for that was laid at IMT Nagpur. So I give it back to the organization, I give it back to the institute that it could give me such kind of a platform. And because I utilized the 2 years to the best of my ability, I could grab it with both hands. So I think it's pretty clear for you all to look at it from a very clear lens, that the decision making should be more from a perspective that what will benefit you and how you can probably look at 5 years medium and long term goals, because that is very critical and crucial for you, because that will kind of shape your career, how you are entering into the corporate world. But to summarize it, if I have to put it in one line, I think I'm pretty confident in saying that the transition of the classroom to boardroom and preparing you to be well ready for a corporate world, IMT is the right platform to use. And if you can milk the opportunities or the support that IMT gives you, I'm sure each one of you will go miles. So that will be my bit of how indebted I am to IMT Nagpur, and how this institute really acted as a catalyst to take me where I am today. So all the best, and I'm sure each one of you will make a calculated decision, and hope to see you all soon at IMT Nagpur campus.
Thank you, Goldie. Thank you for your time, and thank you for your views, suggestion. We have another alumni of IMT Nagpur, Ms. Aditi Sancheti, from batch 2011 and 13. Ms. Sancheti is working with Reliance Jio as program manager. I request Ms. Sancheti to take us through her journey with IMT Nagpur. Over to you, Sancheti.
Apeksha,
Yes, sir.
before Sancheti, you come in, I just want to say,
Yes, sir.
I had an opportunity to meet Sancheti on the 7th of this month when I
Okay,
went to
sir.
Hyderabad. I
Yes,
know
sir.
Professor Sain did mention in his presentation that we really nurture our alumni intensely, so that they can contribute to their alma mater in many ways,
Yes,
including
sir.
value additions and all. And
Okay.
that's where we identified Aditi Sancheti, one of the most brilliant, I would say, shining students of IMT Nagpur, and she has taken over as the chapter president for Hyderabad. So,
Okay.
with Aditi, over to you.
Over to
Sure.
you, Sancheti.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. And I feel extremely blessed to have this opportunity to, to just be on behalf of all the alumni. I could be here to tell the world what IMT Nagpur means to each one of us. And I think director sir also mentioned that he met me, and so that was a alumni meet that we were having, and there were so many alumni from across all the batches, years old and even recent ones, and all of us could resonate with each other's feelings and whatever we are doing in our careers right now, and how IMT Nagpur was a very strong foundation to all that we are today. So basically, to all the students aspiring to be the management graduates, I would like to tell that, whenever you are trying to identify a B school, you would look into three aspects. One is obviously academics, one is your life at the campus, and one is your life after campus. You can also call it placements and stuff. So I'll talk about all three aspects one by one. If I talk about academics part, So, like you must have seen in the presentation made earlier, we have some highly renowned accreditations to our college. It's NBA. We are undergoing this AACSP. We have AICTE accreditation. All of those. And like Professor Banerjee mentioned very rightly, that accreditations are very different than rankings. So accreditations take into consideration a lot of important aspects, like what is the academic excellence, what is the faculty prowess, and how are the alums doing, what is your international connect, and all of that. Starting with the academic excellence, we have a course infrastructure which is very, very relevant to the current times. So if I talk about myself, I was a fresher. I had just done my engineering, and then I thought that I should be going for a postgraduate program, and I wanted to go into management. Like I wasn't even sure if I should be taking marketing majors or operations majors, because I hadn't known all of that in detail. With this bridge program that we went through in the first year, I could identify that when marketing is my field, so I should be going ahead with marketing. So that is a very clear indication of how good the program is. It like really shapes your career. It helps you to take those decisions and then understand what do you want to do in life. And with the real time things, like we have case studies, we have simulation programs, we have other extracurricular activities that another alumni just spoke about. So all of these things actually build your it builds your perspective towards whatever you want to do and you want to achieve and work towards in your life. So all of that is very important. Now coming to the faculty prowess, our faculties do a lot of research. They bring in a lot of new inclusions, like the case studies or the simulations that I spoke about, or they would interact with you. They would guide you in terms of how you should be shaping your career, and all of those things are really very relevant and important. And it's like I think it's almost dynamic in nature with the changing times and the changing technologies and the changing world in terms of how we work, how are the companies adapting to all of these new things. I think a person has to always be on his toes and be ready to adapt to all of these changes. And I think the curriculum that you have at IMT gives you the right uh, place wherein you can nurture all of that understanding, and then you can be great at it. So that is one thing. Then about alumni connect, so we just spoke about this chapter meet and stuff. It was so good to actually connect with all of those alumni and then understand and wherever. So most of us, like especially people like me who are like more than a decade that we passed out of the institute, so we are now working and rubbing shoulders with the likes of IIMs. And all of this that has been possible only because we studied at IMT, and however we took that forward, and then however we were guided. And then so I would like to tell that both my campus placement and internships were with very good organizations. I was placed into CK Birla Group company, and then I switched, and now currently I'm working with Reliance Jio, and I'm handling whole of South for them. So all of that could be possible only because of IMT. The faculties, the environment we got there, the right guidance we got there, and all of that. In terms of even the international exposure, so not only we have the student exchange program, but we also have this international faculty talks, wherein they come, they share their perspective, and with them comes the perspective of the world, because I mean they see the students there, they see the companies there, and that is how they come here, they share their knowledge with us, and all of those things help us a lot. Another thing that you would realize after you come to the campus is that it is very important, because see, for people like me and like most of you who would be freshers, who do not have any professional world experience as of now, it's very important to make you ready for that, not just by a classroom course, but also by the real time things. Like we have a lot of guest lectures scheduled there. So all of those guest lectures actually help us, because those people are coming from various verticals. Like there would be guest lectures on operations, marketing, branding, and you just name it and it will be there. So they would come there, they would be working for a certain organization, they would have shaped their career in a certain way, and all of that actually would help you a lot in terms of understanding the real world, like it helps with the case studies or the project, the group projects that we have. Because I mean, once you are out as a student, you might still feel that you are a individual contributor, but it doesn't work like that always in a professional world. Like you are part of a team, mostly you will be a part of a team, and the team has to deliver. So you have to keep in mind all of those things. So that was like the academic part of whatever I wanted to tell you about the campus. The next that comes is about your life at campus. Trust me, you would never, ever even hear, at least I have never heard or seen of such a pretty life. It's almost like a dream. I mean, apart from the lush greens that you must have seen and heard about in the past 1 hour or so, I think there are a lot of other factors that make you fall in love with the whole campus. I think the the whole environment, it's so vibrant in terms of the activities, the availability of your choice of food around the clock, and so many people from different places, different states, and you're just bonding with each other, you're playing games with each other. It's like a home away from home and a family away from a family. And trust me when I say this, I mean, even as alumni, it's like more than a decade now, but we still feel that connected. Like even now when we meet, we talk about the faculties, and we talk about the our life at campus, and how we used to enjoy that, and how we used to have all of these kind of case studies, and how all of that has helped us, and we're growing in life. So it's a very, very vibrant life. And I mean, while people say it's just a matter of 2 years, but those 2 years and the environment around you help you a lot. Trust me. So
Thank
you
you.
have to be at peace, and you have to be that happy and engaged, and so that you can actually focus on the right things in life. So I think that is something that IMT provides you with. Third part
Aditi?
is your, yeah.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, so the third and the last part of my conversation with you would be the life after it, which is like the placement. So we've seen that we have had a record of 100% placements. So and that is something that you and your parents and relatives and everyone would be looking forward to, in terms of how will you be placed, and if you will be placed after this whole program, and should you be choosing the particular college. But trust me, you would be placed in a very good organization. You would do very good for your lives and the company that you are in. And so that's it. I think my enthusiasm in this whole speech would tell you that I'm so connected with and so indebted to IMT Nagpur, and I think why you should all join IMT Nagpur.
Thank you so much, Aditi.
Thank you so much.
We have our third alumni, Ms. Prachi Singh from batch 2007 and 9. I request Ms. Singh to brief us regarding the pedagogy, training, workshop, and life you have spent at IMT Nagpur.
Before Prachi starts her part of the presentation, just an update. She is in the campus as one of the recruiters.
Oh, wonderful.
She was delivering a pre-placement talk and all these things. That's why she joined a little late. Prachi, unfortunately, the next campus's time starts at 3:30. We're extremely sorry, but possibly if you can very briefly tell us or tell the audience about your experience here as a student in next 2-3 minutes, that would be great. Please.
Yeah, sure. No, I in fact was telling the kids, I said, let me join with you again, but I have to hop into this another call that was going on. So it's been I think 15 years now that I left campus. It's been a long time, but I was very recently back at campus, and trust me, it doesn't look any different from in terms of the nostalgia. The feeling was very similar. I think for me, campus was to a large extent life-changing, because I was an engineer who wanted to move into HR consciously. I was HR by choice that time while I was at the common course, and I think I owe a lot to IMT from the fact that it made me choose what I wanted to be. The campus itself, as the whole experience, like you were also hearing the earlier speaker saying that it's a different world altogether. And I keep telling this to kids also when I visit campus, that this is a parallel universe. When you go out to corporate, when you go out to the real world, it's actually different, and we need to be prepared for it as individuals. But I think if you're able to understand yourself during those 18-19 months, if you're able to gauge what you want to do with yourself, then that's a very, very, very ample time to prepare yourself for that and then come into the real world. Because otherwise, once you enter into corporate and once you start your careers, you don't have time to sit back, think, and then reevaluate and then start it again. There is no time once you come out of that campus, right? So the idea is to utilize that time the most. And I think for me, throughout life, those 2 years have been the years where I was able to evaluate what I wanted to do with myself, for myself, and I was coming with some experience to campus. So I think one of the fewer memories that I have where I actually had that moment of what I wanted to do was to differentiate between job and career. I have, after campus, never thought back of a job. During COVID, post-COVID, even pre-COVID, people used to talk about layoffs. People used to talk about what if my job goes. I have never, after IMT, I have never seen any opportunity to work as a job. I have always seen opportunities to learn, to grow, and to build a career for myself. So that is what I have been urging students also. And I think that has been my biggest learning in IMT, which is figure out what you want to do with yourself. This is the time, you will not get it again. Not because आप किसी residential campus में नहीं रह रहे हो, but because corporate world doesn't give you that much time to think for yourself. Because every day you have a task, every day you have a deliverable. You know, in IMT, trust me, we never used to plan कि lunch करने जाना है, right? Here we are already planning 3 months बाद क्या delivery है. So you don't get that opportunity again. So that's what I want to actually tell everyone, even if they're in campus or planning to go to campus, that utilize this time to the best. And that's what I think. Thankfully, I was very lucky. I was able to do it for myself. So yeah, those words that I want to leave everyone.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for your lovely words. And now that you have heard from all 3 alumni of different batches at different stages of the career, I'm sure you all are convinced that IMT Nagpur is going to be a choice that you are never going to regret in your life. Not when you are thinking of building a career or learning a skill or to have a fulfilling life in general. We wish you all the very best, and we do hope that someday some of you will definitely be in our classrooms. Thank you very much.
Good luck to all of them. And I really look forward to have you in any of our campuses at Hyderabad, Nagpur, and Ghaziabad. All the best.
All the best to all of you. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much, sir. With this, we end our today's discussion, and I request IMT Ghaziabad to take over the session. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot, Apeksha. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Good evening and warm welcome to the Director's Cut session of IMT Ghaziabad. I'm Dr. Juhi Gehlot Sarkar, and let me take the honor of introducing you to our director, Dr. Vishal Talwar. He's a professor of marketing and director of IMT Ghaziabad. Dr. Talwar is a PhD from Alliance Manchester Business School, University of Manchester. Prior to joining IMT Ghaziabad, Dr. Talwar was the Dean for the School of Management, as well as the Director of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the BML Munjal University. Dr. Talwar has also served as the Assistant Dean for the EMBA and BBA programs, as well as the Head of Campus at the SP Jain School of Global Management in Mumbai. Earlier, he was based in the UK and was working at the Henley Business School, University of Reading. Dr. Talwar was also the faculty in the Department of Management at the London School of Economics. He has also served as the faculty at Manchester University Business School. Dr. Talwar's visionary leadership is fostered with high-quality research, and he has published his work in top-quality journals, including Financial Times Top 50 journals. Hello, sir. Welcome. We also have here Dr. Harvinder Singh. He is the chairperson admissions of and Dr. Harvinder Singh is a professor in marketing with IMT Ghaziabad. He has completed his MBA in marketing, PhD in management of shopping malls, and certification in geopolitics from Geneva. Dr. Singh has published research articles in reputed journals, as well as some highly commendable cases with the Richard Ivey School of Business, Canada. Some of his case studies are listed on Harvard Business School publishing portal. Dr. Singh's areas of interest in teaching are rural marketing, channel management, and geopolitics and business. And you would get to know more of him in the course of our discussion, as well as when you're on the campus. Welcome, Dr. Singh.
Thank you very much, Professor Juhi.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We have our alumni of 2022 batch, which I'll introduce you to Akriti in the course of time. Let's first begin with talking to Dr. Talwar. Sir, we would like you to apprise our aspirants about the ethos of IMT Ghaziabad, the academic culture, and the values.
Well, that's quite a loaded question, but thank you so much for that. As director, that's a question that I would be answering. Well, if you look at IMT Ghaziabad as a whole, we started a journey in 1980, and starting a journey at a time when the practice-driven business education was in its infancy, right? Was at a very early stage. And Sri Mahendranath, our founder, he realized that the practice-driven management education is something that's required for education in this day and age. If you were trying to create leaders, if you were trying to ensure that organizations do well, if you were trying to ensure that a lot of people focus on profitability, productivity, sustainability, whatever, I think you have to be able to ensure that the kind of learning they get is practice-driven, to get a learning which is reflective of the context and not just the concept. So that's how IMT Ghaziabad came along. And right from that day till now, we've followed that particular ethos of ensuring that we're creating leaders who are in touch with, let's say, the future, but also grounded in reality, right? And that's something that we have always maintained. Over the last many years, our focus has not just been in the Indian context, but also from a global perspective. So we are at heart and in ethos completely Indian. But at the same time, we've been, in the last many years, venturing out into global avenues. We've been venturing out into global avenues in terms of learning, in terms of the kind of courses, in terms of the kind of faculty that we have seen in the classroom. So I think that's what our ethos is, practice-driven, context as well as concept becomes important.
Thank you, sir. So would you also like to apprise our participants about the contemporary rankings and the ongoing things that we are doing at IMT?
Well, yeah. So I think before we talk a little bit about the rankings, we talk a little bit about, let's say, the accreditation. So I'm sure everybody's aware that we are an ACSB accredited institution. It's the gold standard as far as the accreditations are concerned. It's a US-based accreditation system which looks at how you go about making learning effective. How do you ensure that there's an outcome-based education? How do you ensure that there's a certain level of assurance of learning? How do you ensure that you have a certain global standard inside and outside the classroom? But I think if you're talking specifically about the rankings, yes, of course. In the last year, we've been able to, in a way, crack into the top 100 Financial Times rankings. If you're aware, Financial Times is a respected British newspaper which runs a certain management school ranking and has been doing that for quite some time. And we felt that we're obviously ready now to be able to position ourselves from a global perspective. And that's the reason why we got into the ranking, and we're very heartening to know that we're in the top 100 as far as global rankings are concerned. So it has a lot of schools from different parts of the world. It has a lot of schools from Europe, and it has about 11 schools only from India. And we are one of those, 11 schools that did get into the Financial Times ranking. What you also have to remember is it's not just about getting into a ranking, right? Because, I'm sure, a lot of people are aware that there are rankings that are out there. But it's about the process, and it's about what is it that they're measuring. So if you look at, let's say, the Financial Times ranking, what they're looking at is predominantly, and about 50% of the weightage is given to how well the alumni are doing after a certain point in time. So in this particular case, how well is the alumni doing, let's say, 3 years down the line, right? In terms of the kind of job profile, in terms of the kind of, let's say, the salary packages or whatever, in terms of, PPP or whatever you want to call it. So, the ranking is effective, or the ranking is important because it tells us how well our output in a way is doing, right? How well our students are actually doing over a period of time, because it's fundamentally important. What's the acceleration as far as, salary growth is concerned, in the nature of the profile. So that's very important. The other aspect that is progressive also and fundamentally important is the fact that we were recognized by Financial Times ranking for the kind of efforts we made as far as diversity is concerned, the kind of efforts we made. So they actually acknowledged us as being one of the 2 schools in those top 100 as having gender parity with respect to faculties, 1:1, right? And very few, in fact, just the 2 of us in the top 100 had that kind of gender parity. So it's a combination of various factors, some based on outcome, some based on output, some based on input in terms of the progressive nature of how we think sustainability, ESG, and many of the other things. And of course, I also wanted to quickly talk about the QS ranking, the Koch-Rowley-Simons ranking, which is where we also participated and which is where we also got ranked. Now, you might wonder, or in fact, the students might actually wonder, what's the usefulness of a lot of these rankings? I think it gives us an idea of benchmark. It gives us an idea of, where we are, where we should be, how progressive we are from a global perspective. And at the same time, it is also important for us to realize that if you play your cards well, if you help that manifest, if you help that activate for yourselves, you can also focus on in the long term in terms of, let's say, the kind of organization that come to you. Remember, a lot of the organizations that come to business schools at a certain level in terms of placements or otherwise, I think they're global, they're multinational. And many a time signals from multinational or global rankings enables a lot more confidence building. It enables a lot more recognition. It enables a lot more opening of the doors. It enables a lot more diversity in the kind of job profiles they're happy to give you as an institution. So there's a lot of what I would call as upside to being able to do well and be active in the ranking space. And same is to be said from an Indian perspective also, right? So you have rankings in India as well. So these are the kind of rankings that we are part of. Of course, there are Indian rankings as well. We are part of whichever rankings you pick up, whether it's a Business World or otherwise, whether you pick up Business Today or MBA Universe or whichever rankings, you would notice IMT and its constant acceleration upwards, right? That's because we are completely committed to the learning experience. We're completely committed to ensuring that there is a delta change in what students are as they move forward on their two-year journey.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, that brings me to the next question. How does IMT, in terms of its course content or the other initiatives that IMT Ghaziabad has been looking at, how does it stay abreast of the changing dynamics of the business education, the transformative aspect of it?
So, look, it's all about transformation, to be honest. And it's a very good question you asked. If you look at, let's say, what we talk about, we talk about Industry 5.0, some people call it 4.0. We talk about what we should be talking about is Society 5.0, which means the fact that it's not just about industrial revolutions. It's not just about, change of technology. It's not just about manufacturing becoming flexible or, let's say, augmented or digital. It is about what society is going to create, because you're going to be part of that society. The people who are looking at MBA education right now, people who are looking at getting into postgrad education at this moment, are essentially planning to work for the next, 40 odd years of their lives, 40, 50 odd years of their lives. The same may not be said about you and me, right, in a way, but they are doing that, right? So automatically that means that there's a lot of change that we're going to see in the society. The way we see it and the way research is coming out tells us that the middle layer, or what we see in the middle, right? So if I looked at it as a continuum of individuals, of skill sets, so there's a middle layer of skill sets. A lot of that will get automated. A lot of that will get, let's say, I won't say replaced, but augmented by what we hear nowadays as generative AI or machine learning or deep learning or whatever you want to call it, right? Then there's going to be a layer of for the lack of a better word, a certain base of skill set on the lower side. And then there'll be high value skill sets, which will obviously get, hugely appreciated, right? Now, it is important for business schools like ours. It is important for IMT Ghaziabad and other such schools to be able to ensure that they're making the students transition into that zone of, high-end continuum of value addition, of impact creation, of critical abilities to think of solving a certain base of problems or identifying a certain base of problems, because it's not about problem solving. You need to know what problem you're trying to solve, right? That becomes your first port of call. So I think keeping that in mind and also keeping the fact in mind that management education at the core has also changed, right? We keep talking about technology, we keep talking about digital transformation, and management education also have to be reflective of that change. right? We can't have just one or two peripheral courses and say that, we have obviously techified whatever learning we do in the classroom. Technology is at the core, liberal studies at the core, right? So if you want to be a business leader in the longer term, you have to have your domain knowledge. You have to have technical understanding, implications, deeper thought around that, and also a fair understanding of, liberal arts, a fair understanding of, you're going to make decisions in the future which can impact, a lot, right? It can impact your organization. It can impact society. You're trying to mediate in a cyber-physical kind of system. We are living in a society where our interaction with each other is getting mediated by technology, right? So that's the kind of zone we are trying to prepare our students for. That means that there has to be a deeper appreciation of technology, right? So if you look at our course curriculum, our objective is to, in 3 years or about 4 years, we want to revise the entire curriculum, right? So that's usually the objective, which means we start every year. What works, what does not work, what's contemporary, how do we ensure that learning is happening in a particular kind of mode? If you're teaching sustainability, is that integrated with practical understanding? If you're teaching financial modeling, is it cutting edge? If you're teaching even, let's say, pricing for that matter, does it incorporate the new kind of tools to be able to analyze prices? Does it give the student the ability to not just look at research from a survey standpoint, look at research from 100 surveys or let's say 1,000 surveys? You have to start thinking in terms of how you are able to use social media, and the large amount of data that is being generated there to the use of your research. So a lot of these things become fundamentally important, right? Here on one side, generative AI is talking about large language models. And on the other side, if we don't change business education, if we don't try and integrate a lot of all that into learning, into our courses, we wouldn't have done justice to the students who are now going to see themselves graduating and then moving on and, essentially planning for the next 40 years. So there's a lot of focus on courses. There's a lot of focus on contemporary learning. There's a lot of focus on ensuring that, the area advisory boards are a mix of industry and academia. They're working together to ensure the right kind of learning happens. How do we understand, whether learning's taken place or not? How do you assess? A lot of this has to be focused on. I'm of the fundamental belief that whatever got us here will not get us over there, right? Business education itself, is going to change at the core. And, IMT, I'm rather happy to say that IMT is obviously taking the lead as far as that kind of transformation is concerned.
Thank you, sir. At this juncture, Akriti, we have been talking about transformation. So why not, trace out your journey of transformation? Let me introduce you to the audience, and then we would listen to your story. So Akriti Bansal is our very own alumnus of 2020-2022 batch. Akriti has an eclectic mix of experience. Akriti, you won the L'Oreal competition and you got a PPO at L'Oreal. And you have been working as brand partnership manager at Noise. You have also given back to the society. You have founded the Sevam Foundation, and you have been an exceptional volunteer at Cry Foundation, right? And you have won not only L'Oreal, several B School competitions. I saw all the accolades that you have. So, Akriti, who better than you to take us through your journey before IMT, at IMT, and after IMT? How has your B School experience shaped you as an individual and as a professional?
Sure. So thank you so much, Juhi ma'am and Vishal sir, for having me here. I see Harvinder sir as well. So hi, Harvinder sir. I think he has also been a very important part in my journey. I think every faculty has been. So I'll start with the very start. So first of all, hi everyone, I am Akriti, and I have recently graduated, not recently, maybe 2 years now, but I've graduated in 2022, and my campus placement was at L'Oreal, and I had interned at Godrej. And both these were through case competitions, but that's a story that I'll come to next. So before IMT, I had been a very average student, I would say. I wouldn't say that I had been a very exceptional student throughout my school life. No, I've been a very, curious person who's been into extracurricular activities. But if you talk about academics, no. So before IMT, I was working with Noise itself. And I was, kind of doing a lot of things here, and I realized that marketing is my calling. And so I thought, like, let's give MBA, let's see which college I can get into. And didn't have a lot of hopes from me, very honestly. And there is where the transformation story happens, because enters IMT. So I remember when I got my, email saying, congratulations, you've been taken into IMT. I was very happy. I came to the campus, but I was still, in a fickle mind that whether to join or, kind of pursue other colleges or maybe give MBA again. So I think what changed my mind was that when I entered the campus, it has such a nice vibe. And more than that, I met a lot of seniors. So I think they had a very good feedback to give about IMT. They had already told me about case competitions that, actually that is what is going to make or break your journey here. So, kind of maybe indulge in that when you're here. So I think that advice was very helpful to me. So I think it was the entire vibe. It was how the process happened, how it was, and this was all pre-COVID. So yeah. So, it was quite nice when I had come to the campus. So then I came to IMT. And one thing I tell to everyone, that what makes IMT special is that it gives you the authority and it gives you the freedom to actually path your own journey, right? So for example, I, was into a lot of case competitions. I won a lot of case competitions that happened gradually, not from the very first, but yeah, though I won the first one that I participated in, but then we faced a lot of failures as well. And that's when the faculties, kind of came in, mentored us and told us that, maybe this is something you can do different. Our seniors came in to help us, seeing the potential that and the kind of effort we were putting into our PPTs and stuff. So I think we got a lot of help from the faculty, seniors, alums, who kind of came in and mentored us for both competitions and interviews. So I had been part of these competitions, but I also know people who had done like about 7 STPs and internships while they were at IMT, right? I also know people who, kind of founded committees at IMT and now are doing exceptionally well in life, because that building that committee at the institute and actually making it into something gave them so much confidence that they decided that yes, we can do it, right? So I know all of these such people who've charted their own journeys in very different ways as to whatever they wanted to do, right? So I think IMT gives you that freedom to kind of experiment. There are faculties, there is Vishal sir, there is everyone who kind of supports you in that journey, whatever you want to do. So I think while I was doing competitions, I also started 2 startups, which eventually closed down. But, it was such a great exposure, because I was, brainstorming with the people in my batch and everyone, we were always discussing startup ideas. I founded Sevam Foundation while I was at IMT. So there, the idea of, kind of opening an NGO to, kind of give back to the society generated, because I saw so many people working, towards some cause, that it motivated me to, kind of finally fulfill my dream of actually opening an NGO. So that gave me the confidence of doing that. So IMT was where Sevam was founded. So I am very grateful for, that year and that, freedom that I got to do all of that there. So I think these are my take on, how IMT actually transforms your life. I also write a lot on LinkedIn, and that also I started at IMT because I got the confidence. So when you have like I know that, everyone says that brand name and all of that, you should not attach yourself to it. But when you enter a college, like an esteemed college like IMT, you automatically start getting that confidence that, you can do it. Plus, you have such a nice set of peers with you who you kind of motivate you, to do more, to do better. And that is the kind of networking you actually need to, further go into the corporate world. So for example, today, while I'm working at Noise, while I was working at L'Oreal, some of the seniors who actually helped me a lot during my journey at L'Oreal were IMT folks. because they came from the same institute. They kind of cherish the same memories that we do, maybe in different times, but they know the K block, they know the other grounds and other things, and the Muskan burger and all of that. So these are like things that we all connect to, resonate to. So they were the people who actually helped me while my journey at L'Oreal. And when I joined Noise, we have so many people from IMT here, and it's a joke here that Noise hires the maximum from IMT. So so I think, yeah, that the here also it helps a lot.
Thank you. Very interesting. Akriti, because you opened an NGO, I wanted to talk about your experience with the SSR initiative of IMT. I mean, how did that help you, help shape your, contribution towards the societal aspect?
So that's also a very interesting story. I think we got a place from Odisha wherein we had to help people there. And obviously there were language barriers. Obviously there was COVID, so we couldn't visit, that place. But it was that team effort wherein everyone wanted to do something to help that organization, right? So we 8 people put in our heart and soul into actually interviewing so many people, like hundreds of people we called, we actually, kind of created a curriculum for them, discovered colleges near their, so basically we had to do was whatever people were there in the NGO, we had to get them into colleges. So, we called a lot of colleges to, kind of get them into those places, or give, help them give exams for those colleges. So all of this, I think it was a great experience for us. And I think it was something very, surprising that, we're doing something like this in MBA, but actually it, fostered a lot of teamwork for us. It fostered a lot of creativity as to how we can help people despite not being there. So I think it was a great experience.
Akriti, if there is a younger Akriti joining now, right? Or maybe let me frame it this way. If Akriti was to go back to the year 2020 and redo the things again, would you do it the same way, or would you have some advice to newer Akritis joining the system?
I think my journey has been very exceptional. So I would do it the same way because, my internship at Godrej was through a case competition called Godrej Loud. My final placement was through L'Oreal Brandstorm, which we were national winners for. And I think the faculty was a great help in, kind of getting us through these competitions. So I think for me, the journey was pretty nice. I would do it the same way. But for anyone entering IMT, or maybe Akriti at that point of time, I would give an advice that, you should be clear as to what you want to do, and you should not be averse to experimenting as well. So it's not like that you're very stuck on marketing and you want to do marketing, but you won't explore sales, for example. For example, when I entered, and this is something that I would give myself an advice, and this is something I would do differently. So when I had joined IMT, I was very averse to sales. I was like, I will not do sales, okay? Because there is always a conception about it that, maybe you have to travel a lot, you have to do this, that, and stuff. So, but at L'Oreal, my first stint was sales, and I absolutely loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I used to think that why did I not do this before? So I think anyone who's entering IMT, I would say do explore all the options, even if you don't like. You have people who are there to support you. There are people. So I remember my first stint at L'Oreal was in Chennai. I used to call my senior from IMT in Delhi. She would sit with me for hours explaining me how to do that sales stint. And she would, put in so much effort into ensuring that I deliver value to the organization because we come from the same institute. So I think you have people who are going to support you. So don't, hesitate to experiment and explore, because you might like something. You never know. You might think it is something else, but you might like it.
Fantastic. Akriti, so there's a saying going around. I don't know, I heard it. IMT never sleeps. What does that mean to you?
IMT actually never sleeps. So I think the rule at IMT is you work hard and you party harder. We actually take it very seriously. So when you would meet your seniors, you would know what I mean. But so it's like in the day we are, kind of doing our internships, we're doing our STPs, we're doing club committees, we are playing sports, we're doing classes, we're doing everything possible that we don't need the need for sleep, right, in the day. And during the night, we're all networking with each other. We're kind of hanging out in the corridors, in the halls, in the grounds, and doing some random thing, right, and just having fun, because we know that what this college life really means, and we all know that networking is what we are here for. In the end, it's this network that is going to stay with us throughout our life now. So we used to we used to miss no opportunity absolutely to network and party. So I think that is what IMT never sleeps mean. I have not slept for 2 years at IMT. I can assure you that. Maybe just 2-3 hours a day.
Awesome. So, Akriti, now that you talk of how you have been as a candidate and you have been very exuberant, sir, Dr. Vishal, would you like to apprise our participants about what are we looking for in an ideal candidate in terms of perhaps their educational background, the diversity, or the attitudinal aspects that we are looking for?
So I think it's a combination of everything, to be honest. If we try and understand and look at the kind of business leaders that are required or the kind of entrepreneurs that are required, I think we would need someone who's obviously got the zeal, got that orientation towards trying to make an impact. I think that fundamentally becomes very important. Wants to transform themselves, right? That becomes important. Is not necessarily doing a management course because everybody else is doing it, right? There has to be a personal reason for something. You always have a personal reason for something, right? It cannot be the fact that my friend is doing it, my brother is doing it, or whatever else. It has to be a personal reason. There has to be a calling that you have to have. Once you have that calling, everything else becomes secondary. The fact that you got to work really hard, the fact that you might be from a different domain, the fact that you might be, let's say, a law graduate or a medical graduate or an engineering graduate or an arts graduate, doesn't really matter as long as you have the calling. To be able to pick up on a lot of the subjects, right? So that yearning to be able to transform yourselves and in the process transform things around you becomes your first port of call. That's important. Because, you got to remember that, we can get a horse to the water, but we can't make the horse drink, right? Every facility is going to be provided. Every resource is going to be provided. Every access to every club, committees, access to, international infrastructure, international faculty, and, access to the kind of softwares that we have, the labs that we have. Everything is geared to get the best out of you, but you have to also make that effort. Apart from that, you obviously have to have certain eligibility criteria, right? So, anybody goes to the website, can understand what their eligibility criteria is. What we've noticed in the last many years is that, the profiles have got very diversified. The kind of people, the kind of graduation background has got very diversified. You have engineers, you have non-engineers, you have a whole host of people who've done very varied kind of degrees, and we appreciate that, right? For us, it is important that we practice what we preach. For us, it is important that we walk the talk, and that's the reason why in the last few years we've tried to ensure the right kind of inclusivity and diversity, and it pays dividends, right? So whether you look at it just from a perspective of the kind of careers that are created, the kind of emoluments that are linked to those careers, you can make out the fact that we've, the diversification that we've done, whether that be in terms of, the kind of degrees that people have, the kind of work experience they come with, for example, or, gender-based diversity, all that is actually helping us create a, much more effective learning environment. Right. So, whether it is, if you're looking at particular eligibilities, obviously you have to be consistent in what you've done, right? It doesn't really matter what degree it is. You have to be consistent. You need to show some levels of transformation. You need to show some levels of impact. Impact just doesn't mean that, work experience impact. Impact can come from your college days. Impact can come from your school days. A lot of that is important for us to factor in, right? So when you're asked questions in the interview later on about, tell us about, you, why do you want to do this, particular rigorous program for 2 years? How can that transform you? Even the fact that, if you've done a good undergraduate education, do you still have a good understanding of what you've done? That also becomes fundamentally important, right? So the interviewers and our faculty, right, our respected faculty are geared towards being able to understand, one, your fundamental structure, right? Understand that your foundation, how, possibly conceptually strong you might be, right? What, certain, let's say, filters in terms of eligibility criteria. It could be your, competitive scores. It could be a lot of all that. But apart from that, fundamentally, it is about transformation. Are you willing to transform yourself? That becomes important, right? You cannot go through your paces. It's a 2-year rigorous program. It's fast-paced. It's not just about what's happening in the classroom. What's happening outside the classroom is as important as what's happening in the classroom. Do you have that, let's say, gumption? Do you have that tenacity? Do you have that, let's say, stamina to be able to go through the rigors of something like that, right? So once again, it's a mixture between your whatever domain you're from, the technicality of that. Why would you want to do this course beyond, let's say, the fact that, are you following the herd? We don't want that, right? And of course, the will to be able to create an impact, right? But the reason why I'm saying all this is because, once again, it boils down to the very different kind of environment that we're seeing out there, right? Management education has, proved to be, an enabler, a lot of very good careers that are coming through. Now, whether you talk about, consulting, whether you talk about retail, whether you talk about FMCG, whether you talk about, automotive, whatever it is, right? So a place like IMT provides you the whole gamut of the various kind of careers that you can get into. But what you have to remember is that every corporate is looking at some difference. Every corporate is looking at not necessarily run-of-the-mill. They are looking at very individual personalities nowadays, and that's a kind of transformation. I'm sure Akriti would, also agree with that, right? They're taking their time to be able to understand the kind of individual that they would like to work along with them, right? So a lot of those things fundamentally become very important for us to also judge, because we are the place where you spend your 2 years, right? We are the place where the transformation or the delta change happens, right? So I think it is important that we also start looking at the kind of individuals that we would like to, possibly transform over a period of time. Akriti, what do you think? Does that ring a bell in a way?
Yes, absolutely. It rings a bell. I think today, even the corporates and the companies, they're looking for people who can deliver value. And if you're unable to deliver value in these 2 years at IMT, it is highly unlikely that you would be able to kind of deliver value in a much more fast-paced environment like a corporate, because college is still your safe space. Though it is a rigorous course, you have a lot of facilities for you. You have a great campus, you have great faculties who's supporting you. But once you're out there in the world, you're all on your own. So, you need to kind of groom yourself and, kind of polish yourself in these 2 years, utilize these 2 years at the most that you can. And, IMT actually gives all of that to you on the platter, right? All you have to do is take it and be willing to, kind of take those opportunities and explore them. So these 2 years, I think it's very important for you to kind of groom yourself.
As a part of grooming and B-School competitions, Akriti, have been a major part of your journey at IMT and your grooming process as well. I am sure the aspirants, they would not be very familiar about what are B-School case competitions all about and how do they contribute to your, evolution.
Sure. So I think case competitions, so every company has a case competition that they do where they, kind of engage students from different top B schools and get them in a place to, kind of solve a real life problem for them, right? So these are creative. So it would depend from, company to company as to what kind of case they would bring. So for example, someone would bring like a creative case, wherein you need to ideate and bring like an out of the world kind of an idea, right? There would be some cases that would be on supply chain. There would be some cases that would be on, marketing or just sales, for example, or some would be data driven, or some would be, so for example, my finance friends used to do a lot of finance cases, right? So there are a lot of cases that these companies come in with, and their intention behind these cases is to grab hold of the best of students. People who can communicate well, people who can think out of the box, people who can, kind of do a lot of things in a small period of time, work under pressure, present under pressure, so when you're actually involved in these case competitions, you have to do a lot more. They are highly pressurizing situations wherein, you need to present to a board of CXOs, right? And with the idea that you've come up with, you need to present the viability of your idea, and so you have to research a lot. You have to, really be foolproof with your idea and, ensure that there is no flaw in it, or maybe lesser flaws in it, or maybe how you can turn around those flaws in front of the board, right? So these, and plus, this is the latter part of it. The first part is actually coming up with the idea, which requires a lot of brainstorming, a lot of sleepless nights. It requires you to, kind of think outside the box, work with the teams, have a lot of team building activities that you would need to do, a lot of brainstorming activities, connect with a lot of seniors, faculties, and whatnot. And I think all of this exposure that you do while case competitions actually hones your personality, because you're actually doing something apart from, you're actually working on a practical problem. So it's not just theory, it's more practical based.
And that brings me, so how was your internship at Godrej? Your summer internship was at Godrej, right?
Yes.
So how that process, help you in your identification of your choices in life further?
So it was, our first year was a very unfortunate year because we were in the middle of COVID. So my internship was supposed to be offline, but it became online. So it was a very different kind of a internship. So though I was in marketing, it was a sales, operations, supply chain kind of a research project that it had gotten converted into. And it was very data oriented, very theory oriented, very formula oriented. But how it helped me groom myself was, it was something that was out of my comfort zone for sure. And I knew that Godrej is a great company and I need to, kind of crack this company as well. And L'Oreal was also going out at that point of time. So I wanted to have both the options in my hand and then ensure that, I get into the best one that I feel is right for me. So I think how it helped me was to, step out of my comfort zone, reach out to a lot of seniors who can, who are experienced in this field, and they helped me build the project. So I was actually creating formulas for a software, in that internship. And I think that was something that I would cherish throughout my life, but it was also something that I know I don't want to do further, right? So it somehow cleared my perception about, certain, areas that I don't want to work in. But it also told me that if put in that situation ever, I can still do it.
And you also had two ventures. You were an entrepreneur as well, right? You started two ventures. So I would love to hear from you what were your ventures about, what was your learning from the ventures, and then I'll perhaps speak to Dr. Talwar about IMT's thrust on entrepreneurship.
So I think I started two ventures at IMT. One was called Digital Dialogues, and it was so how I came up with the idea was that I wrote an article for Economic Times, and there were a lot of students from IMT who reached out to me as to how we can get featured at Economic Times. So I wondered that, so many people want to write like about just one or two blogs, but, don't get the platform to actually showcase their talent. So we built a platform for people to actually come and showcase their talent. And within like 3-4 months, we were able to source like about 70-80 articles from B-schoolers. So it was more like a Your Story Medium kind of a platform that we had built. And we had even started seeking investment for it, for which, the e-cell of IMT was helping us out, at that point of time. But somehow that did not work because, these platforms require a lot more than just, written communication to be going out. You need to come in video platforms and stuff like that. So that was there. The idea was a little less viable. Then I am an artist as well. So I started my, customized portrait business. I still do it, just randomly when I get like a custom order. But I started that. But while I was working at L'Oreal, I understood that every idea that you come up with has to go through 4 filters. One is it feasible? My idea was feasible. Is it creative? Yes, it was creative. Is it innovative? Yes, it was innovative. Is it scalable? But the idea that I was working on was not scalable because I was the only one working on that customized portrait. And there were only so many orders that I could take in a month, right? Plus, the way I was sending those portraits, they were breaking while during the delivery, right? So these case competitions also help me understand real life problems of entrepreneurship. So after IMT, I again started a startup. It's still running, but it's called Kenchi Crafts. So I was seeking incubation from IMT at that point of time for it. And, Vishal sir and the entire incubation team helped me, kind of get that incubation, get that mentorship from people who have actually been doing business for so long or who've been helping startups, grow for so long. So I think IMT in its core has entrepreneurship. People who come here are quite entrepreneurial in their nature.
Amazing. And the names that you have for your, so you are writing a blog named Narrative, right? Narrative.
Yes, Narrative. Yes.
I mean, I looked at that and I started reading it. It's as engaging as the name is.
Thank you.
As catchy as that.
So
Thank
I
you.
write a lot. I think Vishal sir knows this, but my book is coming out this year or probably next
Congratulations.
year. Thank you. So the date is not finalized yet, but it's all done. It's all made. One of the biggest publishers in India has picked it up. So I think that journey also roots from IMT, from digital dialogues to writing on LinkedIn to starting Narrative to kind of finally materializing into my life dream of becoming an author.
Absolutely adorable. Many, many congratulations.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Talwar,
Yeah, you would notice, complete change. The generation. Till a certain point in time, a lot of the focus was essentially around the kind of corporate role that you were inheriting or you were taking up, and doing really well and excelling. But in the last few years, you would notice, and I think Akriti is a big example of that. Big successful example of the fact that you are wanting to obviously contribute from a corporate and entrepreneurial standpoint, but at the same time, you would want to indulge in what you really want to do also, right? So I think, and mind you, you are kind of reaching success on both sides, right? So that's a complete transformation in terms of how individuals think, and I think that's essentially how things will be as we go forward. And I think that's how the generations that will now get into learning postgraduate level, or let's say get into the corporate world early or get into the entrepreneurial world, it'll reflect that. You'll have varied interests, and I think that's essentially what multidiscipline is, right? And that's what also interdiscipline is, right? These are not compartmentalized. The fact that she's creating a startup, the fact that she's got a foundation, the fact that she's in the daytime contributing to the success of Noise, and Noise recently got major investment from a company like Bose, right? It tells you that all those are kind of reinforcing each other, whether that be in terms of experience, whether that be in terms of the confidence, whether that be in terms of the fact that you get the motivation just because you're spending time on other things also. I think that's the name of the game as we go forward. I think both of us all will need to change as well. You and me, Professor Juhi.
Well taken, sir. Definitely. Sir, but then again, do you think from where you stand today, entrepreneurship is something which is necessary for the contemporary society? How necessary is it? And does IMT have a thrust towards it?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Look, at the end of the day, it's not about being an entrepreneur. It's about being entrepreneurial. I think you mentioned that. Organizations nowadays are looking at people who can think on the feet, who can think by themselves, who can possibly, contribute, not only in terms of job consumption, but also in terms of job production, right? It is important to first acknowledge the fact that, a large part of what business schools have been doing, for till thus far, has been around the fact 90%, 95% has been around readying individuals for the corporate world, right? There's a small minority where, whether you start straight away, post your MBA program, or you start a little later, right? That thrust is there. Whether it's the macro intrinsic need, right, in terms of fulfillment, or whether it is the macro environment, both together will help us in a way increase that percentage, right? So, and that's the reason why we have to facilitate that. There are students out there who, somewhere deep within, they feel, hey, I think I should be spending time on creating something for myself. And that is what is exactly happened. Do I have the ability to take the risk? Do I have the mentoring that is required to be able to then also, get that confidence to be able to take the risk? Do I get the right kind of guidance? Do I, at some point in time, get the right kind of facilitation, let's say an alumni fund, or, or some other kind of, pre-series, or, very small angel funds? Do I have that confidence? Is the institution able to do something like that, right? And, I'm rather glad to say that, IMT Ghaziabad in the last few years has been focusing on that, because that's fundamentally important, right? India has a very high percentage of self-employment, right? Self-employment doesn't mean entrepreneurship. Self-employment doesn't always mean startups and innovation and stuff like that, or disruption. We have to be able to contribute to that, right? And I'm glad to say that, the head of our incubator is actually an alumni, right? He's actually an alumni from about 12 years back. And he's someone who's, taking it upon himself, along with a number of other mentors, to be able to increase that percentage, right? So we've already seen, the fact that mentoring, talking, creating an avenue for them, having formalized mentoring programs, is making a lot of students come along and ask, hey, do you think I can do this? Can I get the right mentoring? Can I get the right guidance? I have the idea, but possibly I need much more than that, right? So when Akriti was talking about, hey, I got 3 points right, but possibly scale is where, my idea wasn't necessarily focusing on. So, can we give that kind of insight? Can we give that kind of knowledge? Can we give that kind of hand-holding? And IMT, Ghaziabad has the capability. And remember, it's not just for our own students. This particular mentoring incubator is meant to be able to contribute to a lot of the very, let's say, aspiring kind of startups, single individual, or maybe as co-founders or whatever else in this region. We are in a region where there's a lot of pent-up demand. We are in a region where there's a lot of potential. We are in the region where there's a lot of skill. You have to be able to facilitate that kind of aspiration into and channelize that. So IMT Ghaziabad, its incubator, is actually doing that, right? And business schools are right there to be able to do it. Remember, so far in the Indian context, technology schools have been known for, let's say, the product, or, the idea, and then maybe taking it thus far. What advantage does a business school offer? It offers advantage in terms of the ability to strategize, the ability to create growth, the ability to think about the scale, the ability to think about organizational structures. What do you need to be able to do? The ability to then understand planning, financial, business, and stuff like that, and possibly go forward. So IMT Ghaziabad is contributing a great deal. We, whether through the system or otherwise, we've had a good number of successful, entrepreneurs, right? So whether we talk about Zip, whether we talk about Spinny, whether we talk about Unstop, whether we talk about Farmezi, whoever, right? So we have a lot of, very good examples. Some of these, in a sense, could have been, the seed could have been, within the 2 years that you were here. In some cases, it's not, right? But the fact is that all that urge always exists. Why does good education contribute? It doesn't only contribute from domain understanding. It also contributes towards, expanding your imagination and what's possible, right? And that's where, IMT Ghaziabad has been contributing and will continue to contribute.
Thank you so much, sir. And talking of contribution, sir, would you throw some light on what kind of contribution do we expect our alumni, our students would ultimately become our alumni, just like Akriti is our alumnus? What kind of contribution do we expect them to make to us, and we making some contribution ongoing contribution lifelong in their lives?
I think that's a very good point. Our alumni have been always contributing to us, right? What you have to remember is that because of the fact that we've been in existence for 43, 44 years, I think we have, a great set of alumni, more than 15,000 alumni, all across the world, not just in India. We have more than 1,000 of them who possibly are at CXO positions, right? And, every time I meet up with them, every time we do, let's say, a leadership summit or a reunion or catch up with them on a one-to-one basis, right? There's always that urge to be able to give back, right? And that fundamentally also propels us going forward. What we are also doing is we are further channelizing that, right? We're not just thinking about, what the alumni can do for us, but it's important at IMT Ghaziabad to look at how we can, go back and do what the alumni at this stage are expecting out of an organization like ours, right? So if you look at a lifelong learning program that we've launched very recently, the LLPA program, that's essentially a step in that direction. Learning will not stop as soon as you leave, IMT Ghaziabad at the end of your 2 years. Learning will never stop. Let's face it. Learning will not stop till the time you don't have one, foot, let's say, as colloquially said, on the banana peel and the other in the grave, right? So learning will never stop, right? So it is important how IMT Ghaziabad contributes to it. So, the lifelong learning program that we've launched essentially is one major step in that direction, right? And that's being appreciated. That's going to expand. We have major plans for it. The other thing that we're trying to focus on is how do we become a conduit for alumni to enable and facilitate other alumni, right? And that's something that, we really, focusing on, and that will also enable much. So there's a triad that is happening here, right? It's not just to the institution, it's us to the institution, to the alumni, and then how do alumni to alumni, create that kind of, let's say, impact or success. So these are avenues that we are looking at. A lot of our alumni are, not just coming in for, guest sessions or let's say for career opportunities or whatever. A lot of them are coming in even for, wanting to contribute in the entrepreneurship space, right? They wanted to come in not only from, putting it certain, let's say, certain, finances or investment in promising startups, but they're also wanting to help and mentor them, right? So the many avenues, the whole possibility is endless, right? How we are able to shape it is where, success lies. So we are working on that right now.
Thank you so much, sir. I think our participants, our aspirants would have a fair idea of what they would expect out of IMT, the ethos, value system, the culture. They have heard from the director. They have heard from our very own, very dear alumnus. Any parting words, sir? Something that I would have missed covering, you, Akriti?
Well, I think we're all faculty and we, love to, speak. So I'm sure there's some element of understanding, knowing a little bit more around IMT Ghaziabad. I think the fundamental remains the same, transformation. The fundamental remains the same in terms of delta changes in the learner. How you do it, right? Whether you do it in blended mode, whether you do it with new courses, whether you do it with, a different kind of tools, all that has obviously changed over a period of time, right? But at the core, this whole concept of creating business leaders for, our transformation that they should bring into themselves and possibly to where they work, that remains intact. So I think I wish everyone the very best. This is obviously an important decision, right? So you're going to spend the rest of your, the next 2 years, in a place which should help you imagine more, help you dream more, help you aspire to more, right? And it's a very, very important decision that you are making. Make it wisely. And of course, if you have further questions, find out more, right? Look, some people might be directors, some people might be deans or whatever, but fundamentally at heart, we're all faculty, right? We're all teachers, if I can use another term. And we're happy to answer any questions that you might have as we go forward, right? So all the best, and I wish you luck.
Thank you, sir. Sir, it was lovely talking to you. Akriti, it was lovely having you here. Every time we interact with you, it's a pleasure. So all the aspirants, all the very best. Make your decision wisely. All the best for all your endeavors. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Julie. Thank you, Akriti. Take care.
Thank you.